I need a cut. I need a full second of silence between it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Everyone shut up.
I'm shut.
Aldo, shut the fuck up.
I'm not talking anymore.
Aldo, shut up. If your whole family was cannibalized, would you consider genocide? Hey guys, my name is Drew Philip Elias. I am the co-host of Between Nerds Podcast. I'm here with my other co-host, Mr. Aldo Mendez, and my roommate / lover / best friend is also with us today, Miss Karen Ditz. What's up, baby?
Hi guys, hi nerds.
Yeah, and my roommate / lover / baby's mama was also supposed to be here, but she couldn't.
You don't have to copy me, Aldo.
But copy you.
He had to slide in. Hey, I also live with my girl. But at the beginning of this episode, I do want to remind everybody to please use hashtag #NerdsForRefugees. That is NERDSFORREFUGEES, an original tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment to be entered into our March giveaway. For every like and retweet, we will be donating to the Hope Border Institute, a faith-based institute in the El Paso, Las Cruces, and Ciudad Juarez region that is helping refugees. And by using said hashtag, you will be entered into our March giveaway, and we'll get you some tailor-picked anime stuff to fit your likes. If you like Dragon Ball Z, we'll get you some Dragon Ball. You like Fruits Basket, we'll get you some Fruits Basket, whatever. Just please use the hashtag.
Yeah, and if you have anything to say, comment on any of our social media or, YouTube. We're trying a lot of different angles still to see how the best shot is for you guys.
My recommendation 2 weeks ago is we do it like broadcast style. Like the news, like CNN, we sit in front of the camera.
But I don't know how I feel about talking to you sideways.
It's because you've never done theater. You don't know what it's like to cheat an audience.
I actually did theater in 7th grade.
You don't talk to the people on stage. You're looking at the audience, but you're like, anyways, whatever. Yes. We'll figure it out. We're still messing with it. Me and Aldo are going to be recording a bonus episode this Saturday that you guys won't hear until the last week of March. I think it's March 25th.
It's not really a bonus. It's just a scheduled episode.
Right. So, but I'm going to be out of town for 5 whole days. And we're doing our due diligence as content creators and planning ahead and pre-recording an episode is, I guess, how I should put it.
Absolutely. So we don't leave you out on the dry. But yeah, it's just, we're going to be talking about the movie Paprika, correct?
Paprika, and then this next Tuesday, the episode after this one will be coming out, and Miss Rachel Eves will be joining us again Monday to be talking about the final season of Fruits Basket, which is tied for second place of highest rated anime of all time on my anime list for some reason. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping it's fucking good.
And that's what got you to come back, to it, right?
I think
because I remember from our talk you weren't really.
I didn't like season 2 at all. I didn't like season 2 at all, but at the same time, I think March we missed our friends because the month of February was all very concise anime watching that me and Aldo had planned out, and we didn't have a whole lot of guests. Mm-hmm. So we're happy to have everybody back, just so that we can isolate ourselves again in 2 weeks to do April Madness, which will just be 4 weeks of sports anime.
Mm-hmm. I asked Jacob Mendeville, whose birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, brother! If you're listening to this tomorrow or whenever you listen to it.
If you're listening it on the day of release, happy birthday.
Yes.
Because it is your birthday.
Correct. But, I invited him for the swimming one.
Okay.
Yeah, for the swimming one
Free?
we're going to have. Yes.
Free.
I heard you say April Madness earlier, and I thought you were just trying to piss off Drew by
talking about March
Madness. Yeah.
So next year we're planning to do it during March.
Right. So we wanted to do March Madness, but we had already told all of our guests for the month of March. So we couldn't just switch it up on everybody
just kidding,
already.
guys. You're watching this instead.
Yeah. We're going to watch sports anime and not hang out with anybody. Yeah. But besides that, this episode, we were talking about season 3 of the magnum opus that is Attack on Titan.
Long overdue.
Yeah. It's kind of like our Hunter x Hunter. We need to get back to Hunter x Hunter.
Absolutely.
It took us forever to get back to Attack on Titan.
But I feel like the hotness of it is just so fresh right now.
Well, because season 4, the final season of Attack on Titan, is going to end in 2-3 weeks. Mm-hmm. So you're right. It's at a fever pitch. Everyone is talking about Attack on Titan right now. I really think, especially after rewatching season 3 this week, that Attack on Titan might go down as one of the greatest animes of all time. That's not even that's not even a hot take. You know what I mean? That's such like a lukewarm take to call Attack on Titan good. And this week it makes me think that we don't even realize how good it is. Like you don't even know how good it is until it's gone. Like we're gonna be missing Attack on Titan the minute it's over.
There's not gonna be something as epic as Attack on Titan for a while.
No, the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is One Piece. But like, yes, they're both shonen, but they're also very, very different works.
The conversation around like Attack on Titan with like the world that is set in is just so crazy. And you can have the argument that One Piece also has some sort of genocidal slavery, killing people aspects to it, you know? But this shit goes so quick and the pacing is so crazy. Because even right now we're talking about not liking season 2 of something, but when we watched like Yu Yu Hakusho, we did like season 2, but we hated season 3.
Right, yeah.
Like season 2 can definitely like put you off with it.
Yeah, but like it's purposely directed so. And
Correct.
we talked about that last time we talked about Attack on Titan. Season 2 is meant to be confusing as fuck. And then season 3, it's like this breakneck fucking speed. Like, I was breaking it down to Karen after she finished watching the final episode while I was super fucking hungover. Thanks for that, Aldo.
Yes.
But like, and I'm just like going over like really quick like bulleted points in my head of everything that happens in season 3. So they overthrow the government. They have like 5 whole episodes having a giant battle with the Colossal Titan and the Armor Titan to retake Wall Maria. We get like 2 episode figuring out that Aaron's dad's from another continent that we didn't even know existed. And then we spend like 3 episodes in Grisha Yeager and Aaron Yeager's dad's childhood and what made him want to not only overthrow the government in the continent he was from, but overthrow this island that we've been spending 2 seasons already on, which we didn't even realize that we were isolated on an island this whole time.
Correct. Yeah, I thought it was like something like One Piece, like Pangea almost.
Yeah. And it's specifically directed like that because like if you're isolated by these giant cannibalistic 10-foot tall
Drunk people?
Yeah, like it's
You're way bigger than 10 feet.
well how do they put so they measure them in meters.
Correct.
And then I think the small Titans are what, like 3 meters?
3 or 4
The 2
meters?
4 meters, yeah, I believe so. But you're talking to the aspect of how like this world that we're looking at, they just know those small ones, right?
Yeah.
Until the Attack on Titan happens on the first season.
Well, the only people in the very early part of episode 1, season 1 of Attack on Titan, you hear people in the town where Eren and Mikasa and Armin are from not even believing that there's Titans outside of the wall.
Correct.
Because the only people that see the Titans are the scouts.
Correct.
So 10 minutes into episode 1, genocide happens and a 100-meter tall fucking asshole like busts a hole in this wall protecting everybody from the Titans. It's terrifying.
It's the fleshiest mecha I've ever seen.
Kind of. And like that image in season 1 of the Colossal Titan hanging over the wall and Eren looking up at him is like one of the most iconic images in like any modern anime.
And it will keep going to be, you know?
That's all people know about Attack on Titan half the time.
They like recreated that scene almost with 3 other kids in this season. Because remember when they like broke over and it was 3 kids and that's when Eren thought like, oh, that was me, Mikasa, and...
They redid that scene in season 4 too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, so I'm completely skipping out of order and just like I already gave the cliff notes on what the whole season's about. But like the very last scene in season 3 is they get to the ocean, realize that they are actually on an island, and it's Eren pointing out at the sea being like, our enemies are out there. That's all you need to know about season 4 is that like Eren has concluded that his enemies are on the other side of the ocean and he needs to go like beat them up. So the image I'm talking about, as opposed to like the Colossal Titan hanging over the wall and Eren looking up, it's Eren in Titan form.
Wow.
And a blonde man who looks like what's his name? The the armor Titan.
Oh,
What's his name?
Reiner.
Reiner. So it's Reiner looking up at Eren in Titan 4.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, because Eren's gonna be huge.
well, no. It's just context. But like what it's led to signify right there is that like even if you haven't seen season 4, is that like the roles have reversed.
And that is a cover of like the poster for it
of the season. Yeah. So like I don't know if this is spoilers or not. Me and Karen were having this debate, but like Eren Yeager won the 2022 Anime Awards award for best villain, right? So like he's going to be a villain.
But not everyone knew that.
See, it's because Attack on Titan's so hot that, like, right now, even us talking about it, like, for third season, like, if you haven't watched this, watch it first before you listen to this fucking conversation.
Oh, spoilers.
you know what I'm saying?
See, I told you.
But we've talked about that, like we already talked about season 1, season 2. We're now on season 3, and we're still behind. We're gonna be behind almost a year on season 4.
Yeah,
if we don't get our shit together.
And I think season 4 might have almost 40 episodes, like
we
almost
has
something.
To be here for
absolutely, yeah. There were some scheduling conflicts with my mom.
Well, what I was gonna say is maybe like come May we should finally do Hunter x Hunter season 3, because that's something that me, you, and V have going. Mm-hmm. So, and that's plenty of time to schedule. So maybe we can have VNA in May.
But Karen, do you still like Attack on Titan right now at the point that you're at?
I do. I was telling Drew yesterday when I finished it that I wanted to continue watching season 4, but then I didn't want to get confused before I talked about it on here.
But I mean, you should watch it because the next time you watch it for the episode, you're gonna be like, "Oh shit!"
For sure, I'm gonna watch it. I just needed this episode to be over, so I wouldn't be thinking about season 4 things.
Maybe that's my issue. I can't stop thinking about season 4. Like me watching season 3 and like how season 3 felt at the time. It was number one a huge sigh of relief because like Aldo was talking about, season 2 is like really hard to watch, especially when we were watching it week to week because it's like it's so purposely confusing, but like it's also background information that you need.
Well, it's tiring to watch a second time. The first time you're gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah.
What?
Well, no, I was mad. Like maybe if you're binging it, because then it's cool. Because then you're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just breeze through these 20 episodes. I have plenty of questions.
It's
cool.
12, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah. It's a short season, isn't it?
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But like my point is, when that was coming out weekly, and I was watching it weekly, and I'm super excited. You're like, oh, all week, Attack on Titan. They're finally gonna answer all these fucking questions because it's episode 7, and I still have no fucking idea what's going on.
Correct. I would be mad too.
Episode 7 comes on. Still have no fucking idea what's going on.
For season 2?
Yeah, for season 2.
That
When you're watching it week to week, but like if you're binging it, you just can just like go through it. Even season 3, it felt like the first time I watched Breaking Bad. Like every episode of Breaking Bad had a cliffhanger. That's how season 3 is. Being like the end of like episode 1 is like introducing the end of episode 1 of season 3 is introducing a new villain out of nowhere. Which we'd never fucking seen, like in Attack on Titan. The villains were always just the Titans.
Who are you talking about in the first?
Kenny,
yes.
I am talking about Kenny
Cod Bane of the Attack on Titan.
Cod. Well, yeah.
Right,
But what's his last name? He has the same last name as
Arkman.
Oh, it's Arkman?
Yeah.
No, it's Ackerman.
It's Ackerman. Yeah. I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
So, like, basically, the biggest badass from the past 2 seasons, Levi Ackerman, has... The person that raised him is somebody that was murdering, like, state agents of the government inside the walls.
The military police.
Yeah, he was killing members of the military police and came to work for like the secret government within the walls. So like season 2 is just like, who's the Beast Titan? What's the origin of Titans? What's beyond the walls? Like how can we retake the walls using these newly found like Eren Yeager powers? Season 3 is like, there's a secret government. We have to use all the weapons at our disposal to cause a coup. And then said coup will give us all the state secrets. And then those state secrets will give us a nuke in the form of a Titan. And that like fuck, bro. Like
it's so well paced.
That's how it started. No, the first episode.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Like that is such a batshit crazy like start through season.
The ODM gear.
So
that was crazy
several
because
times.
It was like, I remember. I think it was the first. It might have been the first or second episode. Somebody said, "Yeah, the new ODM gear has guns on it," knowing well that guns aren't anything against a Titan, so they must be used on people.
On people, correct? Yeah. Because
Which we've
Kenny
never seen
and
before.
his crew, we're using it, and I love the opportunity to shit on Code Geass again, because like this whole 3-dimensional fucking 3-dimensional chess form of writing, it fits way better to Attack on Titan than it ever did to Code Geass.
And I think they're different periods. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
And I think it's different. Not just how like the studios that are directing them are treating them, but like how they were treated as IPs, as intellectual properties. So I've talked about it before. In like the early 2000s, the late 90s, not a lot of IPs were being turned into full-fledged anime.
Correct.
So whenever a studio got their hands on an IP, they would just milk it. Just like, we paid premium for this, we're just going to milk it. Yeah, for all we can do. Like, everything in the early 2000s was like that. But Attack on Titan had, like, the opposite problem. Because Wit Studio produced seasons 1 through 3. Come season 4, Studio Mappa was chosen to produce it, not because they didn't want Wit Studio, but because the owners of the IP wanted a really, really quick turnaround for the final season. And Wit Studio said no. They were like, Attack on Titan is way too complicated and way too hard to animate for us to do it in the timetable you want. Which is why you get these fucking memes of the director of Attack on Titan who works for Studio Mappa, like, with these giant, enlarged, swollen eyes because he's so exhausted. And, like, that's the opposite. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if Attack on Titan was made 15 years ago, the owners of the IP wanting to make money would have been like, hey, we have this, take your time, do as many episodes as you need. How dare you, like 6 weeks out from you wanting to premiere, approach said studio and be like, hey, make this now. Mm-hmm. That it doesn't work like that.
No, it's even like a dick move, you know? It's like, why would you put like all these people in that fucking pressure?
And then how do they expect to do so well?
Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of, like, I love Attack on Titan, don't get me wrong, but like, I feel like I'm the only person that gripes about Studio Mappa's interpretation of Attack on Titan that I've heard, because like, when I finished season 3 on Friday, it was still early in the night, it was like 7 o'clock, I'm still super excited, so I was like 3 episodes behind in the current season, in the final season, so I turn it on, and just like that quick like change in animation like upset me, because it's not that Mappa's doing a bad job, it's just that there's so much less detail, there's so much less in motion. There's a point in season 3 in Attack on Titan where there's chilling on the rooftops, everything's on fire, they're talking, and like you can still see embers floating in the background, you see fire animated in the background. Everything that Mappa's done, the only thing in motion on frame is like the lips. Mm-hmm. And it drives me crazy because like I expect that from something like Fruits Basket. Mm-hmm. I don't expect that from something like Attack on Titan.
And it's disappointing because you had already the wit animated where they did have enough time to animate all this. And I have watched a couple episodes of season 4. It is kind of like, eh.
It's like the
but you're so hooked into the story.
That's what I'm saying. The plot is still so batshit crazy. You're just like, what the fuck am I watching? But like the scenes with talk, with exposition, you're just like, this is so ugly. This is so like boring to look at. Mm-hmm. Which I guess that's just me being spoiled with how good Wit Studio was. Yeah. But going back into the plot a little bit, we're introduced to Kenny Ackerman. He is gonna kill Levi and the Levi squad of the Scouts, who are harboring Eren Yeager, who's kind of like an enemy of the government right now, because the Scouts, while knowing that there are secrets beyond the walls and wanting to inform the populace and get to Eren's family basement to find his dad's secrets, they are going against the direct orders of the government, which the government is just like, turn in Eren Yeager so we can execute him, and no one living within the walls is going to know the secret, that we can control the population. Cool. Which sounds like a modern conspiracy theory. That sounds like me talking to my dad about government shutdowns in 2020, being like, that's just because they want to keep us all down. And they keep changing the CDC guidelines because they don't want us to know the truth. You know what I mean? That sounds like a modern...
like wrapping his phone.
Some tinfoil shit. It sounds like a modern conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Some Alex Jones shit.
Yes, exactly.
Have they talked at this point? Have they said that the king isn't really the king? they like made someone else a king.
I'm glad you brought that up. So like we keep getting these pans to like a king on a throne, but he's not the fucking king.
And they make him look so badass, bro. Like
Yeah, but he's like asleep half the
yeah,
time.
but
He's
he's
just
asleep.
old, or what?
Yeah,
What
he
is
could
he
just look all intimidating. Because like to the point of view, to a new watcher, like they'll put you in this super intense moments of like deciding the fate of Erwin, our commander for the scouts, because not only did he like stage a fake kidnapping of Eren, but like he also knows about Historia, which we had to mention.
So yeah, well, we found out at the end of season 2, so that's not spoilers.
Yeah,
like at the end of season 2, Ymir, was her last name Fritz?
Yes.
I think her name was Ymir Fritz. The person who was secretly the Jaw Titan. There's 9 intelligent transforming titans. One of them, well, 4 of them were part of the scout regiment. We had the Jaw Titan, the Armored Titan, the Colossal Titan, and the Female Titan. Were all secretly part of the...
Annie, yes.
Yeah, we're all secretly part of the scouts, and they're all from this other continent that we found about. And Ymir Fritz was the one that found out that Historia, who was kind of like an orphan girl, was secretly royalty. And Ymir was in love with her.
And then the whole aspect starts turning a little bit fuzzy. Like the whole conversation about noble blood and like who the heir to the
Like
king
even
is.
Historia doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about.
Exactly.
Like she's like, you're talking crazy to me right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting because Ymir is the name of their god. The god of the children of Ymir, the followers of Ymir. And like we kind of, or through Historia, we're kind of learning a little bit more. Because Historia and Eren get kidnapped by Kenny and his goons who have the guns attached to the ODM gear. And Historia meets her dad, who she knew to be a nobleman. Lord Rice, right? And he is the actual king within the walls. Like, we're talking about a secret government. This random lord who was in the northern part of the country, had his own plot of land, his own people that he was ruling. He was a sub-lord, or that's what they wanted you to think. But he was actually the sit-in secret government king. So, when his daughter gets eaten, like several years before by Grisha Jaeger, by Eren's dad, he spent that whole time that we've been seeing Historia grew trying to find her, trying to find like his bastard daughter, because it was like his illegitimate daughter, kind of. So
Totally was.
it
Totally
was.
was.
I was just trying to be mean. I was trying not to be mean, but yeah, like essentially Historia's a bastard, but a la Game of Thrones, being the only person of that bloodline left, he has to pick her up, and like he's trying to explain to her that that the family line's Titan, the founding Titan, the Titan that Ymir had that gives everybody the power over all the other Titans, was stolen by Grisha Jaeger, was stolen by Eren's dad. And that's why Historia needs to eat her friend Eren. And when they tie him up, it looks fucking crazy. Like, they have an altar, like, on top of stone.
Like a 30, 40 foot altar, maybe. No?
Yeah, like the size of a Titan.
Yeah.
So, and he's chained up, and he's fucking gagged so that he can't, like, bite into himself and cause himself to turn into a Titan. So it's this weird, elaborate royalty ritual that's just meant to, like, get Eren cannibalized.
And the room is ice, or
It's
the
not
hardened crystal of Titans.
Oh, that's
yeah.
what it is.
It's-
It looks crazy.
And it was hidden underneath the basement of a church.
Okay, yeah. That's
And I don't know if you can explain, or I don't know if it's mentioned, but why does him biting himself and the sunlight work together?
It's not the sunlight. It's causing trauma. So the first time Eren transformed was when his arm and his legs got bit off. So it's kind of like a defense mechanism where it's just like your body's trying to defend itself.
Okay.
So I'm gonna turn into a Titan.
Okay.
To but like yeah, like if he's not able to traumatize himself, like cause himself to bleed, then he can't turn into a Titan.
Yeah. And there's this weird ass part where we also get more exposition within this crazy like first couple of episodes. But when Lord Rice and Historia touch Eren Jaeger, like they get like memories too, and
It's the power of the founding Titan, and it's and like it's all like
within Eren. right?
Yes.
And it's all subtext in season 3, though. It's never talked about out loud. Because Historia, the rest of this season, even after not eating Eren, every time she touches him or like touches the note of like a paperwork of somebody that had one of the 9 Titans, she can see their memories. Which, like, that's the power of the Royal Bloodline. That's the power of Ymir. That's the power of, like, the original Titan. And, like, I think like, don't get me wrong. It's not an issue. But I think Kenny Ackerman as, like, an initial villain is kind of annoying. Because he's super terrifying. Like, he is written to be Levi Ackerman's counter, right? Like, if Levi is just this 5-foot-tall... like scout that is just murdering everybody without even trying. Like Kenny being a write-in, like, I trained you and taught you everything you know. That feels like such a typical anime trope that I didn't expect it at first in season 3.
Star Wars-y.
Yeah, it's super Star Wars-y. And then I'm like, what? I feel like once I start getting used to that aspect, they kill him. And even then, how he dies and like how he chooses to end it feels like something that wouldn't happen. So basically, the rest of the scouts break into the underground basement of the church to break out Eren before Historia eats him, because they're trying to save their friend Eren. So they have this giant fucking gun blast where they're killing all of Kenny's guys, and I think the logic in how they beat them is cool, because the way the guns are on the ODM gear, the gun is attached to where your ODM gear, what's it stand for? It's like...
ODM? I can't remember.
It's what makes them Spider-Man, that bitch, right? So
yeah,
like...
So instead of like the scouts use the hip gun. Pieces.
Yeah, which like it shoots out like a javelin attached to a string, and that's how they drag themselves around, right? But like Kenny's people with the guns, the thing that shoots out the lance is also attached to the gun. So where you're pointing the gun is where you're gonna go. Which is like a faulty design, because like what you're talking about, the scouts are shooting at their hip and they still have their hands to like slice everybody up with swords and stuff. And that's how they start slicing up Kenny's crew.
And done very dope. And I love how they explain their plans heist movie style.
Yeah.
You know? Like they'll start talking, and then we'll get the contortionist who is gonna sneak into the vault, and then they'll do this, and it's playing as you're hearing the plan. And right here, we get like this whole plan of them like filling the thing with smoke, getting behind the Kenny's people, the Kenny's scouts guys, and they're just like slaughtering them. But Kenny shows up. That means Levi shows up into the fight, and they have like this almost 1-on-1. When there's this other blonde girl who reminds me of Annie on the first season. Because she appears to be a badass.
The other blonde girl?
Yeah, one of Kenny's guys. And I guess I know what Drew was saying, that it was annoying.
I know who you're talking about.
Because it's such a nice episodes, but they don't mean anything, almost. You know? And it seems like the author just wanted to tell the Levi story.
Yeah, but I liked the way like Levi and Kenny were introduced. It felt really... like really out of nowhere, and then just really in your face and super extreme, and you can tell that there was some sort of tension between them, but you don't know what it is at this point. So, you know, from someone who hasn't seen much further, it's like, oh, like, what is it? I still want to know what it's about. Like, it has to do with Levi. That's one of the main characters in this story. Obviously, it's like a passionate battle. Like, what's going on here?
I think what it reminds me of is a One Piece arc, or like Demon Slayer almost, because like the joke about Demon Slayer is always that like Tanjiro's gonna go on this crazy battle to kill this terrible demon, and then the manga or the anime spends like 2 episodes going into this terrible person's backstory so that you can feel empathetic towards it. And that is exactly what happens right here, because it's just like well, I'll get there, but basically like Kenny releases Eren, which I think is stupid fucking writing, because like the minute Lord Rice,
Historia.
Well, Lord Rice is describing to Kenny like only people of royal blood, only people of our bloodline can control the founding titan. Kenny's involvement in this whole thing was he was just using Lord Rice to get the founding titan for himself, so that he could gain the power to control all Titans. And once he finds that out from Lord Rice, he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to fuck your whole plan up. I'm just going to release Eren Yeager right now, and he's going to destroy this building.
You can have a fair fight with Historia.
Yeah, and I think that's so dumb because, like, it felt like a JoJo writing almost, where JoJo's so extreme and so batshit crazy that it writes itself into a corner all the time, and it just makes up a reason that like the protagonists get out of that situation, and that almost feels like what happened here. Like, they almost made Kenny too badass that they couldn't beat him outright, and then they just like make up a reason to switch his allegiance.
Yeah, it's it sucks because I feel like the author wanted to like apologize by just giving him more backstory. Because at some point you think this is gonna turn into like a Levi Miska being like stepbrothers or some shit like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because they have the same last name.
And they go into like how Levi like grew up being a fucking assassin, like in this fucking old like underground city.
He was raised. He was found in a room at a brothel by Kenny with his mother's corpse like rotting,
malnourished, and that's why he's short.
Well, yeah, that is why he's short. But like he was in the room while the corpse was rotting for weeks. And
was she already dead?
Yeah, it was rotting. Like when Kenny walks in, they're just like, "Holy shit!" You've been like, he's talking to the corpse because that's his sister, being like, "Holy shit, they left you like this." I was told to come pick you up because it smells like shit in here, but I can see that you're already dead. In the corner, he sees Levi. Just little like.
It didn't even look like him either. He was just so skinny, malnourished.
And it reminds me like how. That girl from Demon Slayer origin was too. She was like full of lies and like being like traded and sold.
Which one?
The girl that does the coin.
Which one does the coin? Oh, yeah. The butterfly chick.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I'm following.
And the characters look like ooh, like even V's like I can fail.
So like he and like Kenny was already killing people.
Yeah. Like
the Kenny backstory opens with him talking to his dad, who's would have been Levi's grandpa, and him talking to his dad on his deathbed being like, what did the Ackermans do to piss off the royal family that we're now on the outskirts?
And that's another point I wanted to bring out. Within this whole story of this whole annoying arc of Kenny Ackerman. Ackerman. I don't know why I keep saying that.
I don't know.
Ackerman. We also get this backstory of like, oh, fucking Levi's family has been like treated like shit.
That does matter though. Like it's weird that it matters. Yes. Like before we started recording, I was kind of just teasing Karen, and she was talking about how like Mikasa is obsessed with Levi for X, Y, and Z reasons. I'm like, there's an actual write-in Ackerman explanation for why that's happening. Like it has nothing to do with Mikasa or Eren or anybody else involved. It has to do with their family lineage. Which is like even more depressing, and why that kind of matters, because like the crazy thing about Attack on Titan is it really feels like every detail point was like thought about at one point. Like it's crazy. Like even I'm rewatching an episode that came out 3 weeks ago in season 4. This is like 30 something episodes into the season. They're bringing up something I completely forgot about in season 1. Okay. Like it like nothing's forgotten. Like the level of storyboarding on here is just like there's nothing else like it. Like even One Piece this past week has like a mind-blowing revelation about like the true origin of who Luffy might be, what his powers are, the Void Century, Joy Boy, everything. And even this chapter of One Piece, I'm like, how did he remember that? How did he tie in 15 years of writing? And that's how Attack on Titan feels, but like more condensed. And it's just like, that's a talent. You know what I mean? Like we're never gonna get something else like this.
And I'm telling you, it's like 24 episodes, and it just feels like a breeze to watch. I don't know if it felt like a breeze to watch to you, Karen, but
I was just excited to watch it. Like I was looking forward to have time to just be able to binge some shows.
Every episode is just like spice. It's crazy.
Drew caught me down here one of these days watching it, and I was getting ready for work, and I'm like, oh, like I was already late, but I still didn't want to leave. I was like, no, I don't want to leave. Like I want to finish this. But it was already past the time I was supposed to be there. So.
And yeah, when back to the plot, when Kenny foils Lord Rice's plan by kind of he lets go of Aaron's fucking mouth the gag. He cuts his forehead, which looked pretty fucking dope.
Honestly, it looked like Jesus Christ, though. I think that's why they did it like that, because it looks like the crown of thorns. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yes,
like,
yes.
So they're saying like Aaron Yeager's Jesus Christ. Like, yeah. I guess.
What did you call it? It's a reverse. A reverse. Holocaust.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like the plot to. Well, I'll explain it more once we figure it out. Yeah. But so basically, Aaron and I hate early Aaron. I hate Aaron like honestly. I hate Aaron every season, even season 4. I was gonna say I hate him until season 4. I hate him in season 4 too, because he's such a whiny bitch.
And like, it's even written on the dialogue. It's like, stop being sad, bro.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's literally about to get eaten by Historia, and he's just kind of like, my dad's a piece of shit. Why do you give me this power?
Maybe I do deserve to die.
I deserve to get eaten.
If it's for the better of everyone.
Yeah, to protect humanity, I guess I'll just get eaten.
So annoying.
Yeah, but, like, he's on a cross. Like, that's why he's hung up.
Yeah,
he's Jesus fucking Christ.
That whole episode was kind of stupid, though, now that we're talking about it. It's because all of this stuff that just doesn't really make sense, or it just sounds like an easy way out for Kenny and, you know, shit like that.
And it's like right after we see like the whole like cave thing.
We're bitching so much, but it's like episode 5.
Yeah, like, and it was so good. But I remember at one point I looked at Drew and I was like, why is Historia just going along with everything her dad says? Like, okay,
the guy
this man that abandoned
her
you for years, that you've never met, like, she only met him 5 years ago before this moment, and still, like, they didn't keep in touch or anything. He
clearly needs something from her.
Yeah, he needs something from her. He doesn't want to do it himself. And it's like, oh, I'm telling you to eat your friend. Like, if my dad came up to me after all those circumstances, I'd be like, fuck you.
That's what Karen said. That's what Karen's red flag was being like, he's barely coming back? Like, that's the issue right there. Like, what does he want?
And she's just going along with everything he said.
Well, my first red flag, even though in Aaron Yeager's memory, when they touch him on the back, we see like a whole culty thing, and to me that shit's just a red flag. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the cult bit's the red flag.
Like everything why he's describing.
That makes sense.
He's describing like, oh yeah, I have to keep my family like hidden, and then we do these rituals, and then I'm like, ritual, whoa. Yeah, and then it just gets really crazy, and then by the time they're having the whole exposition between father and daughter, it's just like, yo, bro, no.
It's also Lord Rice that starts giving the backstory on Grisha Yeager.
Correct.
Because that's when he's like, they were downstairs in the same basement 5 years ago, and Grisha Yeager ate Historia's sister. And that's how he got the power of the Founding Titan. And we're learning about the Founding Titan from a flashback from Kenny. Because Kenny was best friends with Lord Rice's brother, who is the previous owner of the Founding Titan. And that's where we start to learn that there's like a time limit on how long you can have like a Titan power before having to give it up. And that's where we start learning about the will of the first king. And that's where we start seeing the eyes whenever a person in the royal family has the Founding Titan, because they are bound to the will of the first king. They can't break his will, which is why they're all pacifists, which is why they choose not to go beyond the wall or use Titan powers that they have to like...
They're like taken over by their ancestors' will.
Yeah. And that becomes an even bigger deal like at the end of the season. Like, you need to remember this one scene for like the last episode.
Yeah.
But they progressively replay it too.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They'll like play it again episodes later in someone else's memory or something, but then it adds more to it.
But that's why Aaron starts feeling guilty. He's just like, my dad did what? He ate who? I have this how? Like, he does. The only reason we barely inferred from like season 2 he ate his dad is because there's a flashback with no like context, where it just shows like a brief like dialogue with Aaron and his dad, right after the fall of Walmaria, with his dad being like, "Here, I gotta inject you with this, and then you're gonna eat me," and Aaron just being like, "What?"
Already getting stuck. What?
So yeah, like we don't even, we almost need to infer that happened. So that's crazy to know that at this point, the founding Titan is within Eren Yeager, and even before that, we know that Grisha Yeager had another Titan inside of him. So Eren Yeager at this point in the story has 2 Titans, and that's like mind blowing to think about. We didn't even know that was possible. And that again makes me think of like One Piece, because like the first time they ever showed somebody with 2 devil fruit powers, they were like it broke the community's brain. People are still actively mad that something that happened like that 13, 14 years ago in One Piece, it happened because it rewrites what we know about like this like made up power system.
And the power scaling, I think, is really well written into the thing, because when Lord Rice, when Lord Rice was getting his plans foiled, Historia was like, "Nah, fuck that, Dad. I'm not gonna listen to you," and like tosses the syringe on the floor, breaking the vial and like letting the spinal fluid on in there. And Rice, as he's already like hurt or something, he like starts licking that shit off the floor.
Well, it's because Kenny gets Eren pissed, and then Eren turns into a Titan, and the Titan, and him being a Titan, like causes the.
He doesn't turn into.
How did he get hurt?
No, so
how did Lord Rice get hurt?
I think Kenny did it, right?
Kenny did it.
I think Kenny like just hit him or something, and he just like fell to the ground. Like he wasn't severely injured or anything, but like maybe had like a broken arm from falling.
Yeah, I think he was like either tied up or something like that. Like he couldn't, or no, he just freaked out because a vial was broken.
Oh,
and he was like, "Fuck that!" Yeah, and he just goes to the ground while Kenny's up there with Eren, and then Eren's still tied up. He licks that shit and turns into like a deformed Titan.
And honestly, this what shows like this is like some pretext into showing like the power of the royal bloodline, like eating spinal fluid of somebody of the royal bloodline turns people into Titans. Like so. Grisha Yeager eating his own spinal fluid and turning into a Titan, like magnifies it. Like he's as big as the colossal Titan, but like
Grisha or Rice?
Lord Rice. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like Lord Rice turning into a regular Titan. He's as like long as the colossal Titan, but because he's still a regular Titan, he's deformed. Like he doesn't fully form, so he's just crawling on the ground to the point that like his whole front side never fully forms. Like you can see his brain popping out.
That was crazy.
He crawls onto the wall. And you see his guts just block out.
Yeah, and at this moment, the Eren figures out that he can do a hardened power just like the female Titan.
Right before that, though, Kenny gave him a vial that said hardening.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
No, Kenny didn't give it to him.
Where'd he get that?
It on the floor. So I thought that part was done.
It was in the kit that Kenny threw on the ground.
Yeah.
And on it said hardening, and it's never explained again. But like Eren drinking that lets him learn his hardening power.
Ah, okay. Because even if that's the case, like the ability of him hardening, again, another write out to, well, not a write out, because the way is shown during the fight with Reiner. It's great.
Yeah.
And we know that he can, what's the green Pokemon, the one, the cocoon?
Oh, Metapod?
Yeah, he can Metapod himself into like this crystal-like.
That's how he protects his friends right here. Yeah. Because like Lord Rice's Titan is so big and like destructive, like Eren has to instantly learn how to harden and make like a shell and a casing, which is what the cave is made of, what Karen was describing. Because like we get a flashback right then of before he was kidnapped. What's the scientist bitch's name?
I love
Hanji. Hanji is the scientist of the Survey Corps and was performing experiments with Eren and his Titan abilities. And they were making him turn into a Titan multiple times a day. They learned that he caps out at about 3. And like the more you turn into a Titan, the weaker your Titan looks. Like he was getting skinnier, not as tall. And he was trying to learn how to harden. Like they've seen the Armor Titan do. And like Eren,
female Titan too.
Yeah, and the female Titan. That was like a big thing of Annie's fighting style. And he couldn't master it until he ate that vial.
Correct. Yeah, And then when that accident happens, towards your point again, this is where we find Kenny and Levi talking.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, after they defeat Lord Rice.
Yeah, after the whole thing.
So, basically, Lord Rice's ginormous fucking crawling slug
But, like,
titan.
you need to explain that a little more because I don't think, like, visually you can see how crazy that was.
Okay, so...
That titan?
Yes,
Yeah,
just
that's
crawling
crazy.
and like it was dragging like a rug burn that just severed through half of your skull and your entire half of your front torso. But he was, like, you didn't know any of this for most of the time. You didn't know until he stood up on the wall.
You think
And
he's
that
still
shit
good?
was insane. Like, you can see his brain, his eyeball holes, where his nose goes, like where
Yeah.
his jaw was supposed to form.
And it's funny that you say that because Saeed does this sometimes. Like, he'll try to get up and, like, he'll crawl and, like, he'll just, like, drag himself like that. And me and V, like, when we saw this, like, ha, Saeed.
Well, I'm looking at her notes right now, and it says,
Thank you for notes, babe.
yeah, thank you for notes. Where did it go? Historia's dad becomes nasty huge titan.
Yeah.
But, like, and, like, what we also know about Titans is, like, or people that turn into Titans, like, this happens with Eren when he's bleeding, they steam off. Like, that's how they heal themselves. They're, like, steaming off all this energy. So, like, the minute he stands up, not only is he, like, laterally, like, cut in half, like, he looks like a... Like there's
MRI image.
well there's a museum like this where they have like the sliced human bits where you can see like what the inside looks
Yeah, I
like.
think it's called Humans or People or some shit like that. Or
It looks like that. It
Yeah.
looks like that. But like as opposed to there being a pan like in front of the body, like every time he stands up, like all his organs flap out. But because he's a Titan, he also regenerates at the same time.
And
So it's
that-
just like this endless cycle of like him severing his body by like crawling onto the ground and like causing friction that burns across his like his epidermis. But like he's also healing himself at the same time, which makes him keep doing it, which is like more gruesome.
And it's part of the plan of the big ass Titan because not only is he fucking big, but all the scouts, Erwin, the commander Erwin included, he's like, okay, he's going towards
To the population
wall.
center.
He's going towards
The people.
yeah, to the people. But the people in this section, not only are they on the safest side of the wall, I guess, because that, and this is what I was trying to tell you. Like, I can't remember if it was south or north, but the north side of the most outer wall is almost never attacked because the
I think it might be the south side because I think they make Titans on the north side.
correct. Yeah, we get
Yeah.
that exposition towards the end. So yeah, so these people, not only have they already gone to a coup,
Which
they-
we haven't even described the
Yeah.
coup. So, like, you briefly described that they were
That's
torturing
right, we
Commander
haven't
Erwin, right? So, at that same time, like, the same people that captured Historia and Eren and are selling them off to the real king within the wall, who is Lord Rice, the scouts already kind of figured this out. So, what they were doing is Commander Erwin got kidnapped by the military police. They tortured him so bad they sliced off his right arm, which I don't know how much you have to hate somebody to cut off their arm. Like that's not even torture at that point. That
It's
like
not like a nail or a finger or a
people
toe.
get their fingers ripped off later in the season. You know what I mean? That's not a weird concept. But
a whole arm.
a whole arm?
Like you're gonna.
You have to
target someone
hate
that
somebody to
point.
be like, I am taking your good arm right now. That is insane. So, at that same time, the scout regiment had kind of made a deal or kind of explained to both the military police and the internal police what the plan was, and they were kind of explaining to them ahead of time without getting like the proof they needed to turn people to their side that like, hey, these guys are trying to hide information from the public. They're not the real government. They're protecting the real government. Because when Erwin gets walked in to his execution, like bogus trial,
They set up like a plot.
they set up a plot. So the commander of the military police and the commander of the internal police are there, like Erwin's counterparts within the other forms of the police. And he's explaining it all to them. He's just like, we know that you're not the real government. We know that that's a fake king sitting on the crown. We know that Lord Rice captured Historian and is about to eat Eren. When are you gonna like explain this to everybody else? And then a scout regiment person walks into the courtroom, into the throne room, saying that they lost another wall. The Titans have penetrated another form of the wall.
Rose.
Wall Rose has been taken. We have to evacuate people from the city. And then those same people in the government are like, nah, fuck them. Like, do not send the scouts. Do not send our police. We're not going to defend them from the Titans because our duty is not to protect people. It's to control them. So then these other...
They all live within the inner wall, don't they?
Right.
So they didn't want to have all these people within their inner wall.
Right. We were going to protect the inner wall. We're going to protect the nobles, the elite, the royalty. Like, fuck all those other people out there just, like, trying to live their lives. So then the other people in those other forms of the police, inside of the military police, inside of the internal police, they hear this fake plot because they were told ahead of time that this was going to happen. And then Commander Erwin was just like after the spokesman for this fake government is kind of like, nah, fuck them. Like, leave them out there. We can't feed all these mouths. We're not here to protect people. We're just here to control them. Everybody else in all these other police stations hearing that is kind of just like, oh shit, we actually have to commit a coup now. Mm-hmm. And that's where they finally tell the government, just like, we were actually working with Erwin this whole time, and he told us this whole plot, and we kind of let his arm get cut off to prove a point, which is a fucking like hell of a statement to make.
Yeah.
But like all these people were on his side secretly, and nobody thought to help him before he lost a whole arm.
Well, they needed to make it real, also, no? Because,
yeah, you're right.
Like, they needed to make it real, and then everyone, I guess, knew about this plan. But you needed to go along with everything to see how it's going to be executed at this point to decide.
I just think it's crazy, like, that commitment on Erwin's part. Because he never broke, you know what I mean? Like, he lost a whole arm and still never spilled the beans.
And he was still fighting, bro.
And he was still... So...
I love that he's, like, fucked up, beaten up for, like, 5 episodes.
Yeah. It's... So that happened at the same time that we were dealing with this Kenny situation inside of... underneath the church or whatever. So now Erwin gets out, they overthrow the government, our own people are in charge now, they're about to install Historia, and they tell Historia the whole plan. They're like, look, we know you're a trained scout, but like, we're about to make you queen, so don't go fight your daddy Titan that's about to invade this wall because we need to keep you safe since you're our new figurehead. And she's just kind of like, I think that's supposed to show the difference between like her and her dad. She grew up with the people, like she's one of the people. So she's like, why would they follow me when I'm nobody? I should be out there defending my people from my dad Titan.
Mm-hmm. And at first, like, everyone was like, nah, I can't let you do it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
He's like, you're royalty, you're about to be queen because we're going along with this plan. Like, you can nail it.
And when like, the mutant Titan, whatever, is over the wall and trying to get over the wall, they had, like, this plan of turning... Since he was so big, they can't really do anything about it, and then they decide to throw some like dynamite into his mouth because his face is half cut open, so his nape is exposed.
Yeah, so
they inside.
So they get barrels of black powder, of gunpowder, like put it into a satchel, make Eren Titan run along the wall with giant fucking black powder satchel and throw it into his gaping mouth.
And because he was steaming so much, it sets it off. Right?
Yeah, that ignites it on its own. So then because he's a giant Titan, if any part of him survives, he can still regenerate. So then you have these giant Titan globs, like, gonna fall on the city. So now it's the job of the rest of the scouts to, like, zip along the city so they don't fall on people because they're fucking smoldering hot and burn anybody to death. But they also need to cut them in small enough pieces so that he can't regenerate. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy watching it in motion because it's like any other anime would have led that up for, like, 2 episodes. This one, it's just like, it tells you right then. It's just like, this is what's about to gonna happen. Like, my normal anime brain being like, okay, that'll be a cool thing to see next episode. It happens 5 seconds later. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like,
and then I couldn't understand if they set up Historia to cut the nape or if she just happened to be the one that did
She noticed it. She noticed it falling onto the ground, and she realized that for her to be seen as, like, the hero, the kind of queen that everyone would want to follow, she needs to be the one to do the final cut.
Mm-hmm. So she even bitches to everyone. Is like, yo, bro, you gotta let me go.
Yeah,
like, this is the story that the people want.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. So they installed a new government. Like any other anime, this would be the end of the season. We just had this whole ass crazy fucking thing happen. Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's where we get the Kenny and Levi scene that you were talking about.
Yes, sir.
So after they defeat King Rice's Titan, Levi goes back to that same spot to try to find survivors. Finds Kenny dying, like pretty bad shape, like several broken ribs, like half his body's scorched.
Already?
Yeah.
Wow.
After killing the dad.
Okay, yeah.
I believe so, yeah, because that's when he finds someone with a syringe, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
So
he's
right.
outside of the hole, outside of the church on Lord Rice's property, and he's all burnt because, like, I was talking about,
Only
Lord Rice's
survivor.
Titan was all, like, smoldering and hot. And, like, he's dying, and that's where we get most of the story on, like, Kenny and Levi. Like, Levi asked him, he's like, who are you to my mother? Who are you to my mother? Expecting, like, him to be his dad. He's just like, she was my sister, stupid, and just dies. Like, imagine you find out somebody you thought your whole life was your dad and abandoned you at childhood was actually your uncle who abandoned you at childhood? Crazy.
He wanted to soften the blow.
That made me sad because it was like you just knew that he was hoping that he was his dad, or not even hoping that he wanted a father figure like that, but like
He just wanted to know. Like,
Yeah.
And right now it's still kind of like, oh, so I really am just like a prostitute son then.
Yeah.
Poor Levi.
yeah.
Poor Levi.
And
And gives him a syringe. He gives him a syringe that this is one of the extra ones that Lord Rice has. And it's full of spinal fluid of a royal family member. And if it's injected into you, you turn into a Titan.
And I'm led to believe, before we finish that point with Levi grew up in the city that was where the cave is right now, right? The one that got destroyed. They lived in an underground.
Oh yes,
City.
there's like an underground community.
So where those pillars, the crystal pillars, that's where that community used to exist, right?
I
or
think
no?
so.
Because they did mention that they
There's
destroyed
underground
that.
also.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't remember that part.
Yeah, because they were saying he was from underground. I remember because I was thinking of that one
When
show that we watched
when
where
Kenny
like, the poor people live
Orlando-
under.
Oh, what's it called? The League of Legends show.
Yeah,
Arcadis.
Arcadis.
Is that what it's called?
yeah. Arcade.
Arcane, thank you.
Arcane.
Yeah, like the arcane power. Anyways. So yeah, it's like that kind of. And yeah, Levi's got the worst fucking stories. So like it's crazier to think like where he came from exactly. Because like they even have a whole crowning ceremony for Historia. And like Levi is the only person that not amongst our main scout members that's like cheering on Historia kind of. Because there's a really cute scene, right?
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you brought it up. I wanted to see it.
Yeah, you want to explain it?
Yeah, we're like the punch.
Right.
That one? Oh, okay. So after all of this happened with Levi, like we finished with the scene with, just Levi's destructive history. There's like a next scene and you just see all the scouts and Historia. And I guess...
But it's after the crowning ceremony.
Oh, it was after the crowning ceremony?
Yeah,
Okay,
so she's crowned. She's walking down the hall with Levi, with Armin,
Not
with
Levi,
Mikasa.
with Eren.
I mean with Eren, with Mikasa, with those other fucking
whole
ones from
squad.
season 1 that don't fucking matter. And she's just like, I'm gonna do it. And we don't know what she's talking about
and someone's
exactly.
like, the grudge isn't that bad. It was a joke. It was a joke.
He's gonna hurt you. He's gonna hurt me. She's like, if I can't do this as queen, then why am I even queen? and she just like spots Levi in the hallway, and he's just like, hey, your majesty, like kind of disrespectfully, like in Levi-ish kind of way.
Casual.
Just too casual for a queen, you know what I mean?
Well,
And
he
she-
did just learn he was just a bastard son of a whore.
Yeah, that's why it was so cute because, you could like... He was in such a downer mood. That's why the whole scene happened. He was in such a bad mood. All of this just
Right.
happened. Then she's all giggling.
Well,
or not
I took
giggling.
it as he was more upset that his like adoptive father died. That's how I interpreted it. I interpreted it as he was upset Kenny died. That's how I
know.
took it.
I think maybe both.
Maybe both,
Like,
yeah.
It was someone that was your mom's brother, and at the same time you found out that it wasn't your dad. Like, this guy's a piece of shit and he's still your uncle.
I think he knew he wasn't his dad because he was old enough to be conscious.
I think he knew. I think he thought that was his dad. I think like the dialogue in between like him asking like what was your relationship with my mother. He was expecting to be like, oh well,
I'm your father.
yeah, I'm your father or something. But like that's a fake. Like that's kind of a
Because
cool
you're
fake.
right. He was like old enough to know that his father hadn't been there the whole life, but at the same time, he never said like, "Oh, I'm your mom's brother," or "I'm your father."
Correct.
Like he just came in there being like, "Oh, this is what they called me for."
I just feel like the only super attachment he had was like, oh, that's the guy that raised me to be who I am.
Yeah, that's all I'm
Which,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so then Historia, like, walks up all tough, leaves like the rest of the scouts behind like a few feet, and then just punches him.
Pats him a little bit.
But it was so cute because like you can tell she like put some effort into it, and then Levi just kind of like nudged a bit, and then he giggled and he was like,
And they're almost
"Thanks,
like the same
guys,
size.
I
I
needed that."
love how, like,
He's tiny.
how determined are to animate Levi
Small.
short. Yeah.
The
It's so great.
biggest badass in the walls has to be 5 feet tall.
Hey, dude,
Always.
that fool didn't have
How
anything to
tall
it
is
for
the
like 5
creator
years.
of Attack on Titan?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe he's writing himself into
It's a
Levi.
projection.
I think he, his character design for Eren looks more like him than Levi.
The blonde guy?
No, Eren.
Oh,
Oh, Eren.
I heard Erwin.
Yeah.
No,
me
no,
too.
Eren.
Oh, okay. I
Eren,
heard
Eren, I'm
Erwin.
sorry.
Oh, okay. So, even Levi right then is kind of like, thanks, guys. I needed that.
Yeah.
Like, we're just like, what the fuck? Like, you just need to get punched in the shoulder by the queen. So
He
then,
giggled. That was cool. He never is happy.
right, like, yeah, I think you're right. That may be like the second smile we see, like,
Yeah.
ever from Levi. But we finally get into the meat and potatoes of the season, which now that Queen Historia is on the throne, they host a state meeting with all the different heads of the government, including the military police and the Commander Erwin and everybody else. And they're like, what's the current plan? We overthrew the government to figure out the plan. What's the plan to figure out the actual secrets within the wall? And they're like, well, Eren Yeager has a key from... Oh, wait, that's not even how they figured it out.
No,
After-
it was
after-
because of the vision.
Right. So after that happened, if you eat somebody with a power titan, you can like kind of tap into their memories, right? So Eren gets a memory of his dad's, remembering the key his dad gave him the night that his dad made him eat him, that he got these titan powers. And he remembered his dad telling him that all the secrets were in his basement of the house they grew up in. So, and it's not only that, he remembers that from Grisha's memories that he was friends with a scout.
The ex-commander.
Right. So it took Eren a while to be like, who the fuck is this guy? I've seen this face before. It's because like one of the... Is his title captain or is it lieutenant?
Ex-commander.
Ex-commander.
Ex-commander, the
Yeah,
guy...
because Erwin's now the new commander.
Right, the guy that boot camped them.
Yeah, the guy that almost like assassinated Eren Yeager at the beginning.
The guy that's in charge of the training. He's in charge of the boot camp to train the scouts, right? And Eren didn't recognize him at first because he looked so fucking different when he was younger. He actually had a full head of hair, not these scary fucking wrinkles, and because
Tired eyes.
like the trauma
Yeah.
of being a scout changed how this man looks.
Yeah.
That Eren couldn't recognize him from his dad's memories. So they go to the training grounds and press him. And that's where I can't remember his name.
He told him more of the story.
What's his
about
name?
His dad.
Do you have his title right there?
No, I just saw ex-commander. That's
So
what they wrote.
before even that, we get there to the basement of the house. Like we are brought up to this moment that we haven't even heard of from the first season, and like Haggis or Hanji was like, what about that key that you were? Don't we have to do that? It's like, yeah. So they hatch a new plan to recover War and Maria.
Well, that's not even what I was going to go into. Like, we get a whole episode of the ex-commander explaining who Grisha Yeager was before that whole plan is hatched.
It was in the same episode.
Was it the same episode?
Yeah, when they found the ex-commander.
Right.
Yeah,
because
that's when he explained to him, because he was like, "What do you know about my dad?"
You're right.
So yeah, then we get like a half episode like Karen's describing, being like, I found your dad outside of the walls, which is batshit fucking crazy because nobody born within the walls ever
gets
travels
outside.
behind the walls.
There's no
Did
doors.
you
just
climb
walk
and then
outside.
climb down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, what'd you do?
it's impossible.
Yeah.
And like the minute they were gonna arrest him because it's technically illegal to be outside the walls, and Grisha Yeager was talking crazy, asking all these questions, being like, how many people
He
live
had
without
no memory.
inside the wall?
Correct.
Yeah, almost like they were treating it like this crazy case of amnesia almost. But that's because Grisha was from beyond the wall. And it's describing like Grisha's whole life growing in the wall, like marrying Eren's mom, who was a barmaid that this ex-commander was actually in love with, which was why...
Was that what it was? I thought it was his
Yeah.
sister.
No,
No,
he was in love with her.
I didn't even know he was in love with her. I just remember him talking shit to her.
Well, I interpreted it as he was in love with her because when they're having that conversation at the table, he's looking at Eren. He's just like, you have your mom's eyes. And like, I'll never forget what those eyes look like. Kind of being, I don't know. It might be a stretch, but like,
Yeah.
that's how I
Like
interpreted it.
Professor Snape kind of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Just like that. And
Okay, that makes sense.
you get what I mean?
'cause
That's
me and V
honestly
were-
that isn't that the same fucking
It's
piece
the
of
same
dialogue
fucking
from Harry
thing.
Potter?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
He's like, you
Oh,
look
which
like
one?
you look like your father, and he hates it. But then he looks at Harry Potter's eyes, like, but you have your mother's eyes.
So
or some
did you
shit like
watch the last Harry Potter?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so the
But
scene
not in years. I
the
probably
scene
won't remember.
right before Snape dies, they're in that cave, right? And he's like all bleeding out.
Like, you need to
and,
look at my memories.
and and Harry Potter's like, oh my god, Professor Snape, like, I know you didn't like me. And he's just like, it's not that I didn't like you. It's just like, you look like your dad. But then I look at you in the eye and it reminds me of the woman I love, who's your
Lily.
mother. So that's how I interpreted that scene, being like, he was in love with Aaron's mom. Because he goes on... What?
But he says the opposite. He says your eyes are like your father. The anger behind those eyes.
Right, but...
Yeah, he's like, you look just like your mother, but in your eyes is the burning anger of your father.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
I don't
it's-
know. You guys, I feel like you guys are both a little wrong somehow.
Oh, go ahead.
Because, he might have said that. I don't remember that,
Mm-hmm.
but he might have said that. But he did say for sure, you look like your father. No, he said you look nothing like your father.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes,
Those were
yes.
his
It was
words.
nothing like your father because he looks like his mom.
Oh, just kidding. No, never mind.
No?
That
Okay,
was
whatever.
The
Okay.
the major titan that said that.
The
Yeah.
Beast Titan
The
is like
Beast
you
Titan.
have been
True.
you've
So
been
you look
corrupted.
nothing like your father.
You've been corrupted by your father and you look nothing like him. Anyways,
Yeah.
whatever. We're totally it doesn't matter. So he knows because he basically raised Grisha within the walls, taught him to be part of his society, introduced him to clinics and patients because he was a trained doctor and he was really, really fucking good, like better than any doctor within the walls, which was why like Aaron's family was so important, like in the community that they lived in.
Hey,
Because he was trained by somebody outside the walls to be a doctor, which is like this whole fucking thing.
What I never took into consideration, which I feel like plays part right here almost, is like they don't know anything outside of the walls. They don't have cars. They don't have cell phones. They don't have any kind of they don't have cameras. They don't have technology. So of course this is the best doctor because he was trained outside of the walls. Even though it was still in the scene that they showed outside of the walls, it was still like what, the 50s maybe,
Like the
the
30s.
30s.
Like World War II.
Oh, okay.
and back to my point where like the whole noble bloodline and who the king is and shit like that starts getting diluted, is because not even the royalty know about what is outside of the wall.
They do.
What? They do?
They do. Lord Rice did. Lord Rice did,
Oh,
and
Lord
that's
Rice
and,
did.
and
Oh,
that's
okay.
why he never wanted the power of the founding titan himself.
Because then they forget all of that.
Right, because then you're under because if you get the founding titan as a royal blood member, then you're under the power of the original king. And that's why Lord Rice was signing up his
that
brother,
makes sense.
his
Yes,
daughters, because he wanted his own free will.
Yeah,
So that's why he was so willing to sell everybody else out. 'Cause-
Correct.
But also Aaron's dad was like that.
Well, that's not even why. It's and
No,
it's not even
come
explained
on.
till next season. Honestly,
Okay.
that wasn't even Grisha's free will. It wasn't even Grisha like that made him do all that. Not even.
Okay,
Like it's a whole nother thing. So, anyways,
I'll watch it.
that's all we know.
It gets fucking ridiculous.
That's all we know is that Grisha at this point. That's all we know. That Grisha was beyond the walls. Aaron remembered he needs to get to that basement to learn the true meaning of the walls and everything beyond the walls and where his dad was from, who his dad was, all that shit, right? But a la season 1, episode 1, that's Titan domain right now because the Armor Titan and the Colossal Titan busted 2 big holes in the walls right there, and it's just flooded with Titans. So now that we have the crowning ceremony done, all the state heads of government are being told this by Aaron and Hanji and Armin and everybody else. They make the plan. We're gonna retake Trost District, which is between Walmart and Walrose. It's
Walmart.
The second-
Well, this
the
is why
second.
we take Walmart, no? In
right,
general.
but what I'm trying to describe is like there's like the way the cities are around the wall is there's just like a circle on certain distances around the perimeter.
Correct.
So they need to retake both pieces of that wall, and then they'll get Aaron's hardening powers to plug up that wall. But a la the end of season 2, we know that the only goal of the secret Titan shifters that came from outside the wall, who were also the Armor Titan and the Colossal Titan, who were Bertolt and Reiner, are from outside the wall, outside the government. All they want is for everyone inside the walls to be overflooded with Titans and die. That's all we know, and we also know that they need Eren because he has the power of the Founding Titan.
We don't know that yet.
They did because
they did.
At the end of season 2, they saw him control a horde of Titans.
Correct.
After
you're right. Yes.
After Eren in season 2 touched the Smiling Titan, he gained the power for like 10 seconds to control a horde of Titans to chase after Reiner in Armor Titan form.
Yeah, so you're right. I'm sorry. Walmaria, Rose, and then Cena will be the inner circle.
Right, the daughters of the original king. Yeah. So then, they go to trust, and like it's crazy when this happens. Even me, like I've seen season 3 like 3-4 times. I'm just like, that's right. Like Reiner and Bertolt are just fucking out there, and we just spent like 6-7 episodes, like almost like 8 episodes, like overthrowing a government. I forgot what the plot to this fucking show was.
Yeah,
like when I was like, what?
The Smiling Titan, is she still hardened?
The female Titan?
Oh, the
Or
female
the female
Titan.
Titan? Yeah.
Yes, she's still in the basement in the center of
She's Zelda.
Yeah. She's Princess Zelda, a la The Legend of Zelda, like who hides herself like to protect herself from the evil that is Ganondorf. Except it's different, but you get it, yeah. so yeah. Even besides all that, the female Titan is still in the basement because in season 2, in the beginning of season 2, you get a scene where Armin goes to the basement inside of the castle to talk to crystallized female Titan. What's her face? To Annie.
Annie, yes.
To just like he's just talking to her in crystal form, which is crazy in and of itself, and like. Even Mikasa will be like, where were you? And just like, nowhere. What do you mean? But anyways, yeah. So then, like, the real plot to Attack on Titan starts again that I just completely forgot about, which is, like, we need to defeat the Colossal and Armored Titans. And the Beast Titan from Season 2 is a person that is working with Reiner and Bertolt. And we do get a scene that the scouts wouldn't have had, but us as a viewing audience of the anime get, where they're camping on top of the wall. It's Reiner, Bertolt, and to the camera's back is this blonde person with glasses that is explaining them to the plan. And we're led to believe that that's the Beast Titan, that dude. So yeah.
No, I was just saying. The plan turns, and I just wanted to mention this because even Hanji has this piece of dialogue where like, oh yeah, we have to go look in your dad's basement with a key that you have, and they get Erwin. They get like they even get new recruits to the scouts, and they go to Trost District, which is they wanna take back those walls and secure that basement.
Yep.
But Bartol and
Reiner and Bertolt.
And Reiner are there, and here. I don't know, dude. Erwin's character is so cool, dog.
He's so dope.
He's so dope.
Because even with one arm, he suits up in ODM gear, and he's like, "Let's go!" Like being Levi's only friend is also like that much worse because it's just kind of like him talking to Levi, being like, "I don't care what happens to me. I don't care what happens to like the dozens of people we're about to take out there. I don't care if everybody dies." I just want to know what the fuck is in the basement.
Need to see this.
I need because
be there.
Then we get like a whole episode going into Reiner's backstory about when he was a kid. His dad was a history teacher. He started Erwin's dad. I keep whatever. Erwin's dad was a history teacher, and when Erwin was a kid, he was asking too many questions.
He got his dad killed.
That got his dad killed, which was kind of like. The dad was just spitting the lies or the history of the false government, being like, "Hey, the walls have always existed. We've always lived within these walls, and we're safe within here. Don't ever question what's outside." And just Erwin just asking too many questions, and his dad having sources and like sub knowledge being like, hey, it kind of looks like that, like the king from 100 years ago wiped away everybody's memory, and that's why nobody remembers what it's like outside the wall, and they keep us suppressed because they want to control us within the wall, which again sounds like a 2022 conspiracy theory. And but Erwin asking those questions in public got his dad offed. Like, officially, he died in, like, an accident.
Which gave him more, like, approval almost that what his dad was saying.
That was his motivation
probably
to
true.
become a scout. Because he wanted to go outside the walls and learn the truth.
Prove everyone right. Or that his dad... He wanted to avenge his father by proving that his father was right.
And we get this amazing, always fucking, like I said, heist movie described plans through Armin.
I like the drawings in this part.
Absolutely, dude.
Because they start showing little cartoon drawings of like
the plan.
Yeah, of the plan being like, okay, so we'll distract Reiner and Bertolt by making Eren transform, and like all that. Like they worried about the horses. They planned the horses, and
doing that play-by-play.
Yeah, this episode was really cool because everything was in so much detail.
What we also know from season 2 is that the Beast Titan can control Titans, which is crazy. So they go to the outer limit of Walmaria, and they see the Beast Titan out there, and they're kind of gonna attack him head on, but the Beast Titan instantly makes like a horde of Titans, like a perimeter of Titans around him, transform all at once.
But something cool happened before that.
What happened?
Where Armin...
The entire plan. The entire
yeah.
plan.
The whole time.
Yeah, well, the plan that always Armin comes up with is, okay, we've been training with Eren for a while. He's been in this experiments, which I think it's like a super crazy word choice for experiments, because it gives more emphasis to like the whole Holocaust thing and like the German genocide kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not really experiments; they're just like training.
Yeah.
Eren, and Eren's been training to do the hardened thing to recover the wall between Trost District and Walrose. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Well, Maria and Walrose.
Yeah. Okay. And then when they get there, it is like completely quiet. It's too quiet. Almost.
There's no
Someone would
Titans
say.
to be seen yet.
Yeah.
There was a sleeping Titan that they saw.
Correct. Yeah, during the night
their way,
while they were on the way, and the plan. I mean, through Armin's point of view, it's almost like if you were watching like a Sherlock Holmes show or like a Batman story or something like that, because it's like, oh wait, where can they be while everybody's doing their own plan?
Yeah, because they scout the perimeter of the walls, and they're like, dude, no one's here.
And we get a shot of Reiner and Bartol communicating in somewhere hidden. Well, not even communicating; they're just like talking to themselves at one point.
But then Armin has like a fucking brain blast where he's like, where the fuck could they be? Where the fuck could they be? And he's seeing all the scouts jumping on the walls, and he's like, holy fuck, they're inside the walls.
There was a reason why he thought that, and I don't remember why.
He remembered the scene at the end of season 1 where they see the Titan inside the wall. So Armin remembers that the walls can be hollow.
Because this is the first time back as an audience in Walmaria.
Yeah. So, like, that's when Armin remembers that, holy shit, like, there's Titans in the walls. There's Titans in the wall. Armin and Bertolt are inside the walls. Like, so that's when, like, and the scouts look at him crazy because, like, he gets this idea, tells Commander Erwin. Commander Erwin's like, okay, cool. You tell the scouts, and, like, everyone, listen to Armin. Like, Armin's in charge. And they're just... They give him a stupid look when he explains that plan. He's just like, I need you to look inside the wall.
The tapping, the fucking is fucking crazy, dude.
It almost puts you in their position. Like, if you were doing this, you would feel like this is stupid, too.
Yeah.
Because they're just, like, hanging off the walls like people that wash windows.
Yeah.
And just, like, tapping the outside of the wall with their swords.
Like, tiles of the wall, just tapping.
Waiting
See
for
if
hollow
anything is
sound.
hollow.
And they find it, though. Like, they do find it. Somebody...
Poor devil.
Oh,
Poor
that
devil
was
fucking
crazy.
found it.
He finds it. He's like, okay, green smoke blast. It's right here. Reiner just pulls out the it was like a fake wall,
like a fucking theater prop, bro. Like
yeah.
It was like Captain America's like shield, the way he wears it. It was just that plugging up the wall, and he pulls it out
and just fucking stabs him
in the throat, just like. What?
And then Levi, it was Captain Levi, right? He was like.
He's like, oh, there you are, you fucker!
And he just
stabs him
off
in the
of the wall. Yeah, just his entire blade just stabs him through the throat. That shit was crazy.
Like he was trying to cut off his face, cut off his arm, stabbed him through the throat so that he couldn't regenerate.
And when you first watch this, you're like, this is it, we got him. We got him.
But then, like, again, it's kind of like a bullshit excuse because, like, Bertolt finds Reiner on the ground, rescues him, and, like, Reiner turns into an Armor Titan. But then, like, he's thinking in Armor Titan form, being like, oh, that was a close one. If I hadn't moved my consciousness to the rest of my nervous system, then that
was later.
Well, he does it twice because, like, half his head gets blown off. And right here, this is the explanation for why he survives, like, being stabbed in the neck. Being like, damn, Captain Levi was so quick. If I hadn't moved my consciousness to the rest of my body, then I'd be dead right now.
Okay.
And to my point of fleshy mecha shit.
Yeah,
You
the
know what
Armor
I'm saying?
Titans, one of them.
Yeah. It is so nice because I keep thinking about it. I'm like, it is just a steampunk mecha story.
Kind of, yeah.
You know, it's how could you make I guess you could make a steampunk big ass mecha, but like this is the best way to do it, I believe, because even the whole aspect of these people just like making flesh out of themselves into a crazy ass big ass giant Titan just like weirds me out.
I think it's supposed to be disturbing because, like, even like the markings they get after turning into a Titan, it's from like the fleshy bit that connects your nervous system to your Titan, like going into your eyeballs underneath your skin.
Metal as fuck.
Yeah, which gives you like this vasculated fucking look under your eyes.
So cool.
Yeah.
So at that same time, the Beast Titan is on the other side of Walmaria, chucking walls at the scouts.
Brutal, dog.
So now we have like a two-pronged attack. Like on one side of Walmaria, on the outer part of Walmaria, we have the Beast Titan, and on the inside of Walmaria, we have the Armor Titan, and that's when Eren transforms to like lure the Armor Titan away from Walmaria. And, like, even Reiner's like, this is totally a trap. He's trying to bring me in closer to the wall. Why is he doing this? Oh, fuck it, I'm just going to do it anyways. And then at that same time...
That's when he hardened his entire body, right? That was, like, right after that?
Not yet. Because at first, the Armor Titan starts scaling the wall and is on top of the wall right next to Erwin. And it's crazy when that scene happens because they're on top of the wall.
So intense.
They're like
bro.
10 feet apart. Like,
and everyone's just there with his big balls.
Just looking at him.
His one arm and his two ginormous nuts. Just like looking at the Armor Titan dead in the face, being like, you're not going to touch me, pussy. Aaron's that way. You need to go get Aaron.
Dog, intense, bro.
And at that same time, Erwin's describing the plan to Levi. Levi's like, I'm sorry I couldn't destroy the Armor Titan. Let me go get him again. I got him this time. And Erwin's like, no, Beast Titan's out there. I'm leaving you in charge of protecting the horses that are outside the wall and taking care of the Beast Titan because you're the only person that can take him on. And, like, at first Levi's pissed. He's just like, why am I getting the bitch duty, like, taking care of the horses?
Yeah.
And
they were
Erwin...
all with the new scouts also, right?
Everyone's just, like, already looking at the playing board. He's just...
They should have saved Erwin.
Yeah, dude. And that's what I'm saying.
They
like,
should have saved Erwin.
Like, just that piece of him, like, mad dogging, like, the Titan is just, like, crazy.
So like, and the Armor Titan's a fucking pussy. I mean, the Beast Titan's a fucking pussy. Because, like, what he's doing is he's just, like, digging up pieces of gravel, but, like, the underground, like, sediment, like, the rocks, crushing it under his ginormous hands, and just, like, chucking it. So it's, like, giant, like, splattered fucking shellings just, like, falling down on normal
Like,
humans.
throwing rocks, like, at an anthill. It's like...
Yeah, same size difference and everything. Yeah. So, and at that same time, he transforms like that perimeter of Titans I was describing, sends the smaller ones in to like because he knows all these scouts are like new scouts. So even like the 3-meter Titans are gonna eat him up. So they're all dying, like
freaking the fuck out
because half of them haven't even seen a Titan. Because in season 2 we lost half of the original like scout regiment.
Well, even there's a scene. Well, within that same scene, there's one of the guys from the group that's holding the horses that turns around and he's like, "Oh, so that's what a Titan looks like."
Bro, you're out here and you've never seen a Titan. And I think a funny piece of dialogue from Levi's right here, where like he's on the houses trying to protect the horses, trying to defeat the smaller Titans. He's just like, it's just Titans, guys. Like, none of y'all better die. Just focus and pay attention. And then he just whispers to himself.
No casualties. None of you better get eaten.
Yeah.
And then just, like, secretly to himself, he's like, who am I kidding? They're all going to die. So, at that same time that Levi's kind of, like, trying to make sure not too many new scouts die, we're also getting the Eren versus Reiner fight. Which is crazy because, like, season 2, they did fight. But, like, the only reason Eren was able to beat him was because he used like jujutsu techniques to like break the armor that's around his limbs. And that's how Eren got kidnapped, was because Bertolt, as the Colossal Titan, ate him. And that's how they kidnapped him. But like now that Eren has the power to like harden and make his fists like harder than the Armored Titan's like regular armor, it's crazy, because we're like, even Reiner is in his head, he's just like, dude, I got armor all over me. He can't hurt me with those punches, and just like shatters like half of his fucking like Titan face immediately. Like first punch just like shatters half the armor on his face, and he's just like, oh fuck. And it's a crazy like concept, because it's like what Aldo's talking about. It's like mechas, like mecha anime, but they're fleshy, they're titans. So it's weird to see them like moving and zipping and zapping. That part reminds me kind of Code Geass, because like that was cool about the mechas in Code Geass, was that they were fast, they were quick, they could throw people around. But like they're just having like a straight up MMA fight. Like it's just kind of like swing the punch.
He has like a back armbar on him.
Exactly, it's arm bars, it's takedowns, it's all that. But like as Titans in the middle of like what looks like 19th century regular like European town kind of thing. So they're like destroying like the shingles on fucking rooftops, that like there's just everything just flying around. And it's at that same time, part of the scout regiment that includes Mikasa and
Armin, Hanji.
I don't think it had
Connie
with the Thunder Spears. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So they have this new weapon, which is called a Thunder Spear, which is like a javelin, except like it has a string attached to it at the end. So like they shoot it out, and then they pull the string and it explodes.
Like a javelin grenade.
Yeah, it's a javelin grenade. That's exactly what the Thunder Spear is.
And it works kind of a more ramped up version of what the Kenny's people were wearing. You know, they aim at the wrists, and they also hook with them.
Yeah.
So the whole thing about it was that the blast is hard enough to break through the shielding that the Armor Titan has.
Right.
And it just becomes fucking crazy, because fucking the Armor Titan is just getting acupuncture like in the back by this fucking thing, and it's blowing up, and they have to release fast enough for them to like keep going. Yeah,
it's gross how it looks too, because like he has when somebody transforms into a Titan, they're still their human cells, but in the nape of the neck of that Titan, which is why like for regular Titans you have to cut them in the nape, because that's where your humanity is, right? But like the Armor Titan has this very specific piece of plating right above the nape, right? Which is why they developed the Thunder Spear. And like when they like Thunder Spear it 3 times, that part of the nape, even Reiner describes it, he's like, it's splintering. And like when I'm thinking about it, but like that's human flesh, like it's kind of bone-ish. Like thinking about like bone fragments splintering is like gross to think about, because like that's also what they wanted at that same time, and that's how they were going to rip him out. So like he's able to harden the nape of his neck. So then their plan is like, we're going to blast like the sides of his jaw, which is also armored, but then we're going to get to the nape of the neck from the front.
I think that was even after the first fight. Yeah, because on the first fight they think they break and splinter the nape part,
right?
So he's exposed, he's almost dead, and
that's when Bertolt came by and was
that's when
Bertolt like
because fucking Rainer is like and that was a sign for the Beast Titan to throw the barrel with Bertolt in it.
That's right. So there's a fourth intelligent Titan on the enemy side who's a quadruped. And like even Erwin is like that fourth one with the crates on his back, with the one that looks like a cart, who ends up being called a cart Titan.
Cargo Titan or something.
The cart
like
Titan.
that.
It's literally just the cart Titan.
Oh, okay. Ugly.
It's
so important.
It's a woman.
Oh, it is a woman?
It's a woman.
I didn't even notice it was a woman.
It's a woman.
That bitch is...
So, like, when Erwin's standing on the roof and he's assessing the plan that Aldo was talking about, and it's super smart, he's also looking at the quadruped. And him and Armin are talking, and Armin's trying to think, like, how the fuck Did they know we were going to be here at this time, at this place? How did they know to hide in the wall at that specific moment? And that's when I think it might have been Erwin who had the bear. No, it was Armin who realized, being like, they have to have a fourth person. They have a scout. There's a fourth person involved. And that's when Erwin is like, that quadruped, the one that's already hooked up, like with all the stuff on the back. That totally just didn't turn into a Titan. That was already a Titan. That has to be the fourth intelligent Titan that scouted for them, which it was. And like, it's crazy. So to Aldo's point, or I don't know who just said the point.
Yeah, Aldo.
But like when the Armored Titan roars, when Reiner roars in Titan form, that's
almost
when,
dead.
It's
almost
a
dead.
signal.
That's when that's the signal. So that's when the Beast Titan knows to grab the barrel that has Bertolt in it and chuck it across the wall, and that's when Bertolt like rushes in and saves Reiner.
Even in the air, though, Bertolt was like, "Oh, why did it take so long? Why did this happen? Like, what's going on? Is he doing okay?"
And again, there's another moment when we're like, "Oh, we got him.
It's his boyfriend.
We finally got him." Yeah, it's a Batman to his evil Robin. You know what I'm saying? And
I was gonna say the other way around. Like Reiner's kind of like shitty Batman.
Yeah.
Reiner's shitty Batman. Bertolt's like, "I'm coming, Batman. I'm coming."
And when I'm talking about the power scaling too, I kind of don't like how they wrote in that the Colossal Titans like powers, because it's never really explained. But him transforming into the Colossal Giant, it takes a lot of energy, so he makes an explosion around himself.
That is the explanation.
You know?
That is the explanation. And they
That was crazy.
and honestly, that feels really smart how they defeat the Colossal Titan.
Yes.
So you're right. Like Bertolt grabs Reiner, saves him, puts him on a rooftop, and is like, "Hey, get your shit together, bro. Like, you almost fucking died. I just saved your ass."
But
Like,
he doesn't turn into a Titan yet because he's too close to Bertolt.
right. And at that same time, Armin and the rest of them are in the background being like, "Hey, Bertolt,
Stop being a bitch.
you stop being a pussy, please. Like, just let us all live and just go fuck yourself." And then
Even brings the pussy back. He's like, "We got Annie."
we got for real.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah.
You're the only one that can save Annie.
I think it is Armin that says that too. Like, if you
It
ever
is
want to,
Armin.
if you ever want to see Annie again, she's locked in our basement, bro. Like, you ever want to see her again? Like, you need to surrender yourself. And even Bertolt retorts back. He's just like, "Okay, cool, I'll surrender, but everybody within the walls needs to die." And the minute I heard that, I was like,
This fool.
"That's it, bro."
He's
Like,
eyeballing.
yeah. That's it, bro. Like, there's no negotiation after that.
How about all you guys die and I can talk to you?
Yeah. No negotiation unless everybody's dead, because you're all. That's when they start using the label demon to describe people within the wall.
Devil.
All of you devils within the wall need to die, and that's when you're just like, what? Like, what did he just say? And it's insane.
Nobody likes genocide.
These two do.
You know what I'm saying? But these two guys.
Unless you're in charge, you don't think.
And as a first time watcher, if you're watching this and you still have the 4 seasons to go, it's unsettling because you're like, what is their problem?
What, these guys are assholes.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about racism? It's just like, yeah, I need your whole race to die now. That's
Because
my
you guys can turn into Titans.
right. Exactly. So, that's the big thing that Aldo's talking about. So
That's what I was really confused about during this season also, though. So, anyone who can turn into a Titan is from this bloodline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why did they turn against their own bloodline?
it's explained in season 4.
Oh, fuck.
It is
okay.
explained in season 4. Like, it's
Gosh.
literally explained in season 4. Like,
At least it's asking good questions.
no, it's really like that's like the first half of season 4.
Okay.
Just explaining why the fuck they're about that, like literally. So in side tangent about the last season of Attack on Titan, it's technically 1 season, but it was released in 2 seasons. They did 15 episodes starting the end of 2021.
2020.
Was it the end of 2020?
And then it finished on 21.
Right. So then it ended like spring season 2021, which was like March, April-ish. And then it barely picked up again like November last year, 2021. So like technically like they should be considered 2 seasons.
Well, it's like a split movie, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's how all the Attack on Titan seasons were done. Even season 3, like Part 1, the plot to overthrow the government, was released as one bit, and then 6 months later they did the second bit, which is the Battle of Trust.
There's a lot of even season 2 is 22 episodes. I mean, season 3 is 22 episodes.
Yeah.
And then on like season 2, but also like season 2, it brings up more questions than it brought answers to the table.
It answered more questions than questions. I'm not saying there weren't questions brought up, but I do think it answered more than it brought up.
Okay, yes, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I feel like it.
Yes.
Yeah, because I haven't watched the 4th season yet, but watching the 3rd to the 2nd, I was so frustrated with the 2nd episode. I mean, the 2nd season, like. That was so annoying to me. I hate when things happen and nothing is actually happening.
But it does pay off, though.
That's Code
But
Geass
it's...
all the time.
It just frustrates me.
Yeah.
I can't... I get annoyed because I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch the same thing for 5 episodes. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, nothing is going to happen. Like...
Nothing, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah. Fuck, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
We're talking about the Bertolt fight. So he's like, hey, Annie, you're gonna save Annie. And Bertolt towards Armin is like, bro, it's like, I'm more pissed that you brought her up because you think I'm like the bitch that you saw before.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not it. It's like, we're here for Eren.
I think that's a cool, like
character development. Quick character development.
Well, that's a cool... I was going to bring up... That's a cool foil between, like, Bertolt and Reiner, though. Because, like, Bertolt's the bigger Titan. Like, he's the colossal Titan. He's the big Titan. But his personality is so much weaker than Reiner's. Because even Reiner, when we get a flashback of them, like, talking about this battle, he's like... Listen, Bertolt, you need to be able to make your own decisions. Because when we're in the middle of this and I'm fighting Eren, I can't tell you when to use your powers. You need to be able to do it on your own.
He still
you have
does.
the strongest powers than any of us, and you don't know how to use them.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, he's got the strongest powers, but, like, the weakest personality. Like, that's like, the difference there. Because, like, the more Attack on Titan goes on, the more, like, the Armored Titan seems like the weakest fucking Titan, if anything. Compared to, like... The Attack Titan, even like non-armored, just regular Attack Titan can beat the Armored Titan. It's like, what's the point of even being armored at that point? Yeah. But I can't even remember how they separated. But like basically, Reiner understood.
Who separated who?
Reiner and Bertolt.
Oh yeah.
Reiner basically understood that Bertolt
be on each side of the walls.
Right. So like Reiner understood that Bertolt was about to do something destructive, which as an audience we're still not sure what it is. Distances himself as the Armored Titan. And Bertolt tells him, I need you to lay face down in Armored Titan form so that you don't, like, hurt your nape, right? And then at that same time, the entirety of the Scout Regiment, including, like, Hanji's subsection, except for, like, 4 people, like, the ones around Eren. So it's, like, Armin, Mikasa, and, like, the horse-faced dude, and the one with the shaved head. What's his name?
Connie.
Connie, and what's the other one with the brown hair that they pretended was Eren when he got kidnapped? John.
Oh yeah.
Jean. Like
Jean. I think right.
Yeah. Jean. That's what I just said. Yeah. So, but like I call him the horse face guy because that's what Eren calls him.
Yeah, Jean.
Okay.
So like it's them crowded around like Eren in Attack Titan form, and then like. Off in the distance is the Armored Titan Reiner face down in Titan form, and everyone's like, what the fuck is he doing? And then Bertolt, like, while everyone's surrounding him, turns into the Colossal Titan, and it's the sequence in the intro song. Like, if you pay attention to the intro sequences, you're spoiled to the whole anime.
Yeah,
it's all right there. It's even in season 4, you pay attention to the intro sequence, you're like, that's literally what happens. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy that like it's right in front of your face and you don't see it until it happens. Because the sequence in the intro sequence in the song is it looks like a nuclear explosion inside of the Trost district. And that's exactly what happens. Like the energy from becoming a Titan, like kind of like it like so basically the shockwave from a nuclear blast is from the air in the area being like liquidated like right then, like it's burned away right away, which causes like a low pressure system which invades right away and causes like a resurgence in like rebalancing of the pressure system, which causes the shockwave, right? Mm-hmm. And that's basically what happens when Bertolt transforms into Colossal Titan. It's such a big force of energy that it creates like a mini nuclear explosion almost. Mm-hmm. And that like instantly kills like all of the Hanji scout regiment. Like, we think Hanji's dead for like 3 episodes even.
Yeah, she almost dies like 7 times this season.
She loses an eye.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a big deal. Like, if you're zipping around on ODM gear, you need like the to be able to judge distances, so you need 2 eyes. So she's never the same after this, basically. And then then we get a flashback from Armin where he's describing the battle plan with Erwin, where he's talking about, and Hanji, that to beat the Colossal Titan, it's a war of attrition. Because he was noticing when they defeated Lord Rice's Titan, and the time in season 2 when they fought the Colossal Titan, the Colossal Titan is always steaming. Like, he's always burning through energy. So, like, the longer he's in Titan form, it's such a big Titan, and it's so, like, energy dependent that you can, like, get him to deteriorate himself.
That's why he doesn't have skin.
Right, that's why he doesn't have skin. It's too much energy. It's too much pressure to maintain that. So what they're doing is they're just kind of like stalling him. That's what I was gonna say. Like, they're kind of just like trying to stop him from moving forward. Even Eren in Attack Titan form tries to like grab his leg and push him back, and for like half a second you think it's gonna work, and then you just see him just kind of like kick.
He was just like pulling his leg back.
Yeah, he was just pulling his leg back. He just like kicks Eren into the top of the wall. Like, that's
good.
Like, that's how strong the Attack Titan is, and it knocks him out. Like, he's just in like Titan form on top of the wall, just knocked the fuck out, and everyone's just like
laid over it.
Yeah, everyone's just like, oh fuck! Like, our only strategy, like our only Titan on our side, just got knocked the fuck out on top of the wall. What the fuck are we gonna do?
Like, what was that noise? Oh, it's Eren on the wall.
And
then at the same fucking time, fucking Armin is having another plan. He's like looking at the Colossal Titan, and he's starting to look smaller and skinnier
because he's burning through it.
I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck's going on? It's like,
shit. He figured that was gonna happen because in the experiments with Eren, when he
was getting smaller.
Right, when he would do too many transformations at once, he would see that he was gonna get smaller.
When they figured out that he can only do 3
in a day
transformations.
Right, it takes energy to turn into a Titan, which is why, like, in season 2, when Eren had like his arms and his legs cut off, he couldn't turn into a Titan because his body's trying to like regenerate his human limbs before it can regenerate his like Titan form. So, like, yes, you're basically invincible except for like getting eaten by another Titan, but it does take energy and time to like rebuild that stamina. Which is the weakness of Titans, which isn't a real weakness. It's just being human, right? Like, because they're just humans on the inside. That's the metaphor. So, to like degenerate or get him to burn through the Colossal Titan form even more, Armin's plan is to like talk shit to him and stall him. So he jumps onto the wall, tries to wake up Eren, gets him to wake up, explains the plan. And like jumps.
But we didn't even see him fully explaining the plan.
Yeah, but we see him trying to wake him up. We see
him trying to wake him up. Yes.
You see him stab the right side of his Titan form, so that he could stab through Eren, like on the inside of the Titan, and that trauma was gonna wake him up from his concussion because he just banged.
But
his
we don't know this. We don't know that he woke up. I feel like Aldo wants to say something right here.
To your point, there is, like, I can't pinpoint him, but in this instance, is one of the plans that they don't flush out. Yeah, it's just something that happens and then they explain afterwards.
Because we even thought immediately after that he was falling off of the wall, that he tripped and fell. Because we didn't know that it was a part of the plan.
Oh, first time you watched it. Because that's a good directing point too, because from that point on, you're watching the plan from Bertolt's point of view,
thinking that Eren is on the floor right there.
We start hearing Bertolt's thoughts, right? Because he's walking towards Eren.
Inner dialogue.
Eren
would say. Inner dialogue.
Yeah, but Bertolt's walking towards Eren on top of the wall, and like seeing them talking, being like, "Oh, what good is that going to do? He's totally concussed and banged his head," and then like. Eren tries to get up and just kind of like falls and like
in front of all the wall.
Yeah,
But it looks like it wasn't a jump or something that he did on purpose.
He just kind of like stumbled over.
Fell. Yeah,
like a drunk falling off a bed or something. Yeah. And then like Armin goes in trying to like latch on to the Colossal Titan, onto Bertolt, like going after his nape. And
that's why he latched onto his tooth. Because he realized that the muscle tissue is deteriorating, but the bones do not.
Because in season 2, we saw that the colossal titan can like make steam by like burning off his muscle tissue. So like in a normal scenario, like Karen's talking about, if you attach to the flesh, you could just burn that away, and then your latch
They're
is
free.
Yeah, your latch is gone, and you're just gonna fly away. But Armin hooking onto the tooth, like let him stay there. But then Bertolt just kind of keeps using his roasting power and just
fucking
roasts him alive. Like
steams him.
you see him charred. You see his skin like charring off. You see his lips burning away. His eyelids burning away. His eyes burning out of his socket. And he's just staying there, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." And Bertolt kind of fell for the plan because he got so emotional, being like, "I have to kill Armin in this moment. Like everything I've been working for the past 5 years." Was to just kill these fuckers right fucking now. And like in his periph, like in the bottom, he's seeing like what he thinks is Eren in Titan form just passed out on the ground.
Because through all the steam, he can only see like a silhouette almost.
Oh, sorry. So
My bad.
So it turns out what was happening is Eren made a crystallized like silhouette outline the hardness of his Titan form, so that in Bertolt's periph he would think that he was just staying there on the ground, but he jumped out in human form and was coming for the nape of his neck, gets him, pulls Bertolt out, and it's a crazy fucking scene because it feels like the most like upright, like fucking the hero's wand kind of moment of the season, because like you just see Eren out of nowhere just popping out in the back and just like ripping Bertolt out by his
torso?
through the nape of his neck, grabs like him by the neck and just like cuts off his arms and shit. He's like, "I got him, guys, I got him!" Like somebody that he just mutilated, he ripped out of like a 50-meter tall fucking Titan. It's just like, "I fucking got his bitch ass. Like, look, he's right here." And then he's looking for Armin. He's like, "Armin, we did it. Your batshit crazy plan worked." And then he just sees like this charred fucking thing on the roof, and he's just like, "Armin?" Like it literally looks like burnt toast, but in human form. He's just like, "What the fuck is that, Armin?"
Yeah, his lips burned off, so he's like...
And again, like every episode ending on a cliffhanger, that's like it. Like him coming to the realization that like this charred body in front of him is Armin. He's just like, fuck. So then the beginning of the next episode, we do get a flashback of Commander Erwin giving Captain Levi the vial that Lord Rice had that turns people into Titans. And Hanji had basically figured out that it's some kind of bodily fluid. I already spoiled like 2 times, it's spinal fluid. But that's what turns people into Titans. So
she was in the whole meeting, no?
Right, but they never explained right then that it was spinal fluid.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only part that I spoiled. But so, basically the plan is to capture both, either, because they only have one vial, to capture either Reiner or Bertolt, and get somebody that's hurt, and like, since they can regenerate when they're in Titan form, and they can turn back human once they eat an intelligent Titan, if somebody's hurt, like Armin is right here, we can give him the vial, turn him into a Titan, he eats Bertolt, and then he's healed back at 100%.
And at the same damn time, for this fucking point that you're bringing up, not only is a colossal fucking fight happening outside the Tross district, I believe, they are fighting the Beast Titan. And in the Beast Titan, we get this amazing anime speech that doesn't feel corny. It just feels like ridiculous because we see Erwin going through like a spiral down into like going into, I don't know, Vietnam or some shit like that, dude. It's just crazy because we have this point where Erwin is with the new recruits, with the horses, with Levi, and he's like, we gotta move, we gotta get the fuck out of here. This shit's gonna turn into shit. We have to do something. And Levi is the one that tells us like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking do it. It's like, go die, and I'm gonna go do it.
Yep, because it's Erwin does have a plan, and he's like the only person that can beat the Beast Titan, which is why he was wasting Levi's time, even though the Colossal Titan and the Armor Titan are on the other side of the wall doing all this batshit crazy stuff. It was like the only person that can beat the Beast Titan is Levi. And what I was describing to Karen like earlier is like the biggest the most annoying thing about the Beast Titan, it's like this typical villain anime trope where like he underestimates his opponent, and that's why the Beast Titan loses because
he's also pretty OP.
He's overpowered as fuck. Yeah. Also because he knows he's of royal blood, which is why he turns people into Titans.
Yeah.
So Erwin, like again, like underestimating these people. He's just like, dude, I'm a Titan. I'm a Beast Titan. Look at my fucking giant chimpanzee arms. I can throw rocks. I'm fucking ginormous. I'm bigger than the Attack Titan. I'm like a third of the way as big as the Colossal Titan. I'm bigger than the Armor Titan. I'm fucking OP. You know what I mean? But he underestimates how smart people are, which is why, like, if we're talking about the Colossal Titan and Bertolt, like, underestimating how smart Armin is, the Beast Titan underestimates how smart Erwin is. Because Erwin's like, okay, cool. We're just going to do fucking suicide charge and start shooting fucking smoke blasts in the air to, like, to start obstructing his field of view so that Levi can use the Titans on the perimeter as like a stepping block to get to the Beast Titan in the middle of the perimeter, which is like a crazy fucking thing to think about because it's just like you see 40 fucking people on horseback just shooting like smoke blasts in the air, just screaming and yelling and distracting the dude. And yeah, the Beast Titan's just being a pussy, being like, oh, look at these pathetic devils of the island. I'm just gonna throw rocks at them and just like destroy them. And like you see people's horses from under them like buckling and like them being crushed.
Even Captain Erwin.
Erwin's in the middle of a speech. He's just like,
Erwin should be like, oh, we're gonna do this for the people on the wall. We got this. And then like just like gouge it through the stomach. And like people getting their heads blown off, and at that same time, Levi's just like just mad that like he just suicided all these people, but like not wanting to give up this opportunity, and just like killing the Titans around the perimeter to the point that the Beast Titan like looks to his right and he's just like, where the fuck did all my Titans go? Why are they all dead?
And you notice they're all collapsed on the floor.
Right, and they're all like steaming out of their nape, and he's just like, why are they dead? What just happened? And then out of nowhere, just Levi with a face full of blood,
blades into the fucking fight,
bro. And like, I've heard like arguments about like this bit, like it's the coolest bit in like all of Star Wars,
all of Star Wars,
and all of Attack on Titan because of how batshit crazy it is. But it also makes no sense in the physics that we've been described. So basically, like the Beast Titan tries to like stick his arm out and like punch him, but then Levi like circles around his arm using blades as traction to like go into his face,
and it's his signature move.
But like the physics of that literally doesn't make sense.
Nothing makes sense in anime.
But
it's an anime.
But like Attack on Titan has always tried to be grounded with the ODM gear a little bit, even though like people have done like studies of like what if you tried to stick somebody with ODM gear? Basically, it could never happen because your limbs and your hips would give out because like the G forces are just gonna like dislocate your hips the minute you. It's like the logic to why Spider-Man is the only person that can use that power because he's superhuman. If a regular person tried to zipline his way through Manhattan, his fucking arm would get like pulled out of its socket, right? Like the forces are too great. But he's superhuman, you know what I mean? So like he's stuck together better. And like that's what I'm saying right here. We've never believed that there's superhumanness outside of the Titans with regular people, but Levi always kind of shows that.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks cool.
It looks cool. Like it's literally the coolest scene that they always show, like on Twitter and Reddit when it comes to Attack on Titan. It's just like the best fight scene in Attack on Titan. It's literally just him Beyblading around his arm, zipping past him, being like, "Aha, you missed me!" Zipping back, gouging his eyes out so that he can't see, zipping down, cutting his Achilles heels. And then he starts falling over, being like, "Oh fuck, is this like Levi Ackerman that
it must be fucked up
that Bertolt and Reiner told me to worry about?" Because like you even get a flashback right then of nameless person inside of the Beast Titan, even though his name's literally given in episode 1 of season 4, where he's just like talking down to Bertolt and Reiner, where they're like, "There's one person you should totally be aware of, even in Titan form." He's just like, "What do you mean? I'm a Titan. What's he gonna do to me?"
One person I need to worry about, like just one.
Okay, bitches. You spent way too much time on this island. That's y'all talking crazy.
And again, we have another moment of like, we fucking got him, but you don't, and it's fucking frustrating.
And Levi's so smart about it too. Like right away, just rips him out. Same thing they just did with Bertolt. Cuts off his limbs and just like shoves a blade into his mouth, and he's just like, talk. now. Where are you from, bitch? Like,
dude, it's crazy. And I hate it because I get it. You used it once, like the whole we got him thing, but then you use it again, and you're like, okay, whatever. But then you use it another fucking
10
time,
times.
and I'm like, come on, bro.
but the way he gets out of that one's crazy. Because we already described that there's an intelligent quadruped titan, like, just right outside the beast titan's, like, perimeter. And, like, right then, like, right when it seems like he's either going to interrogate him or cut off his fucking head, the cart titan just, like, eats...
No, that was Reiner.
Well, he grabs him that way too, because
Yeah.
like it grabs him by the jowls and like
Carries him like a cat.
yeah, like the way a mama cat carries her kittens, like kind of grabs it by the nape and is just kind of like running away while he doesn't have any limbs, and like the blonde guy that was inside of the beast titan still talking shit. He's like, "Fuck you, you devil Levi Ackerman! I'm not fucking get you, pussy!" Like, oh, like just fucking mad that he just lost. You know what I mean? He's just like, "I'll never underestimate you again, bitch." Wait till I catch you. Like, and then like I get your point to that same time, like how frustrating that is, because at that same time that the beast titan fight's happening,
Rainer lives.
that the colossal fight titan's happening, Hanji's having the second fight with the armor titan, and that's where what I was describing earlier, they blow off the armor around his jaw, gape his jaw, and then like blow up the thunder spear inside of his jaw, which like blows up the inside of the nape, which blows off half of Reiner's skull. But then Reiner's whole thing for a living is like, oh, sure, glad I changed.
Looked like shit.
I moved, but like literally, he comes out of the Titan missing half his skull. And just like he forgets his he doesn't have any short-term memory because his skull was blown off, and like he's regenerating, no hair, he looks like a cancer patient, and Hanji's there with one fucking eye because she survived the nuclear blast from the colossal titan transforming because she was pushed into a well while he was transforming, but the shockwave broke her glasses, and like pieces of glass went into her left eye, and now she's blind in one eye.
Yeah.
So now she's fucking pissed, and she's shoving a blade into Reiner's fucking neck, being like, "I'm gonna kill you right fucking now, bro. Like, that's it." And fucking bitch ass Jean is like, "No, dude, we have to capture him so that
we can't have him dead.
We need to find somebody that is alive and like
somebody that's alive so that we can inject him with the serum and just let him live." And Hanji's like, "Okay, Jean, go fucking find Captain Levi and bring me the fucking vial." And then
he finds him.
and then, oh my god, and then finds him. But then right then,
no, she sent Mikasa.
True. She sent Mikasa, and then right then, the cart titan busts through the wall with the blonde fucking beast titan dude on her back in human form.
Almost eats Hanji.
Yeah, almost eats Hanji. Jean has to grab Hanji, push her out of the way, and then the cart titan is running away with Reiner in her mouth.
That's so frustrating.
It's annoying because it just happened twice in a row. Like what all they're talking about. Like literally they
So
just got away. So now all these losses, all we have to show for it is Berthold's bitch ass. So we're on the roof with dying Armin, Berthold with his limbs cut off, and Aaron,
and the most
Mikasa.
And the most bitch boys of the new recruits.
Well, honestly, the cart titan and the blonde guy who's the beast titan were about to get Berthold back too, but Aaron had the blade to Berthold's neck and was just like, "You getting any closer? I'm fucking coming for you." And then on top of the wall is Levi, like almost blacked out with exhaustion, like wide-eyed. You know what I mean? And then like the blonde beast titan dude looks up and he's just like, "Holy fuck, Levi's back." And then like, but Levi's so exhausted, just kind of like falls down the wall, kind of. And he's just like, "You're too exhausted to do this. I'm too exhausted to do round two. Like this is a fight for another day." And they just kind of run away. So then Levi's on the rooftop with Aaron burnt up, Armin, and Berthold with his limbs cut off. And Aaron's just like, "Okay, cool, Captain, give me the syringe. I'm gonna bring back Armin as a Titan, and then he can eat Berthold." And at that same time, I forget this dude's name. He becomes important in season 4, but he's super fucking annoying. Is this like redheaded recruit that barely came out like this season, who has Captain Erwin on his back? Commander Erwin. He's just like, Captain Levi, I found you. I have the commander. He's all fucked up.
His guts are out.
His guts are out. He's bleeding all over the place.
But he's alive.
But he's alive. Use the syringe. So now we have this huge ass dilemma where there's two people that deserve the syringe. We only have one body, one syringe, and basically
Two dying people.
Two dying people, and Mechas and Aaron kind of commit a mutiny. Definitely commit a mutiny.
This part was so frustrating too because they were taking so long to decide who they were gonna give the syringe to, and it's like, okay, if this is really, really real life, you can't take this long. Like, these people are both on the.
But they were both making such points. You know, like both were like, dude, literally, we've been following Armin's fucking plans like the entire time, and don't get me wrong, Erwin has the biggest balls. I want those biggest balls, like alive. You know,
because I get so right away. Captain Levi's kind of like, no, dude, that's the commander. Like, I have to bring back the commander. Like, you're batshit crazy. And I think the funniest scene, it's not funny, it's almost sad, is that Aaron tries stepping up to Levi, and Levi just socks him on like the left side of the face real quick, knocks out half his teeth. Like, literally half his teeth. Like, Karen was watching it and was like, why are half his teeth gone? Because Levi just punched him in the face. What do you mean? He's just, like, limping, like half awake. Like, he's regenerating. He's a Titan. Like, right. I get it. But, like, at the same time, he's just like, think of all the things that we couldn't have accomplished if it wasn't for Armin. And it's kind of a good point. Because, like, once Aaron's kind of, like, listing through the things that they couldn't have done without Armin, I'm just like, oh, like when it came to learning that Titans don't function during the daytime and only at night, that was Armin. The plan to scour the walls and figure out where Bertolt and Reiner were hiding, that was Armin. It's just
the
like
plan to get the Colossal Titan down.
Right, like there's just a lot of like things that Erwin would have just never thought of.
But then again, like you said at the beginning of this conversation, Erwin and his big balls gave out an arm for like the entire coup on the government.
Yeah, Erwin should have gotten saved.
And then we get like a little bit more backstory, like from Levi's point of view on who Erwin is and like his lead up to becoming like the commander. And the redheaded dude that saved Erwin, I keep forgetting his name, but he kind of gives background on why he thinks they should save Erwin too, being like, listen, like. I was going to let him die, and I was about to mercy kill him out in the field, but he's a devil. Like, he is a demon. Like, no one else could do the things he's accomplished. Lose an arm, still attack Titans head on. No one could lead this many people to their death in front of Titans. Like, he's a demon. He's so desensitized, and, like, he's just such, like, a devil of a person that we need him alive on our side, or we're never going to win this war. And if anything, that speech is what turns Levi to like mercy kill Erwin. Because
he asked everyone to go away.
Erwin kind of had enough energy to slap the syringe off him because he was about to stick it.
He was hallucinating though. He thought he was answering a question in class. Because he was hallucinating back in his dad's classroom.
You're right.
Like, you're right. So Captain Levi is about to syringe Commander Erwin. Erwin lifts his left arm. He's like, I have a question. While blacked out, with his eyes closed, with missing an arm, while bleeding out on the rooftop.
Guts out.
With his guts out. Lifts his arm, being like, teacher, I have a question. How can we be sure that there aren't people outside of the walls? How can we be sure that what we're being taught is true? And that's what got Captain Levi's juices flowing, being like,
this guy's dumb, bro.
He lived through too much. He suffered too much, and during the flashback with Erwin, you see him talking about him looking down on the pile of bodies, the pile of his friends that he's like led to their death, and that's what makes Levi like mercy kill him. He's just like, he was a devil. He was a demon.
There's like a whole animated scene of him standing on top of a pile of bodies.
Right. That's what Levi was like, no, like he needs a break. Like, this is my only friend besides like Hanji. Like, he did so much so that the rest of us could even get to this basement that he deserves peace.
I like that piece of dialogue with Commander Erwin when he's like, don't you see him? It's like, they're right here. It's like they're waiting for why they died. Or is that just me? And I'm like, oh, dog, this guy is crazy. Off the shits right now.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
And I mean, it's just Levi having his background and then Erwin just, like I said, in a fucking like spiral down like mentally. It's fucking ridiculous to see Levi just mercy Demon Slayer kill this devil.
Yeah, because like to the point that Karen was describing, like Levi's just like, everyone get the fuck off the roof, get the fuck off the roof, and like it's not until you see like some short blonde titan like eat Bertolt, and that's a gruesome scene too. You see Bertolt, who was just talking shit to Aaron and Levi and everybody else, telling him that everyone inside the wall should die. You see him looking at the same group of people, being like, "Guys, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Don't let this titan eat me. Just please, stop him, stop him, stop him."
No.
And then, but because it's a blonde titan, it could be Erwin or Armin, even though it totally looks like Armin.
It's the same fucking hairstyle.
Yeah, it's totally Armin. Yeah. But like for like half a second, you're like, I don't know, they're both blonde. I don't know. But then like the minute it eats Bertolt, it falls to the ground, and again, it feels like Jesus Christ's resurrection. Like they're pulling out of this titan form Armin's like replenished body, and everyone's just like crying, like Aaron and Mikasa, and everyone's just losing their minds, being like, "Holy shit, we brought him back to life! We brought him back to life!" And it's Hanji in the background, and that redheaded dude that saved Erwin being like, "Dude, that was the wrong fucking decision. I cannot believe you guys just brought this nobody back to life when our commander is dead, right there on the ground."
Yeah, and then that's when he explained, he's like, dude, he's done enough.
Yeah.
Like, he's fucking done.
It's too much, bro. Like, he gave up everything, and I'm just going to bring him back to life? No, that's too much, bro. That's way too much.
And after here, we finally get to one of the main points, like, in Season 1, where it's, like, going back to...
The basement.
Going back to the basement. Yeah.
We get to go back to the basement. So, Armin wakes up 4 hours later on top of the wall. He's just... like, what happened, guys? What happened? The last thing I remember, we were fighting the Colossal Titan. Where's Bertolt? Where's Reiner? Where's Commander Erwin? Yeah. It, like, here's the part that I thought was really humanized. Was, like, so Levi makes Aaron explain everything that just happened. And the minute Armin's like, wait, so I ate Bertolt? Like, he just starts vomiting, like, throwing up. Like, that's the proper... reaction to cannibalism. You know what I mean?
And I mean, and to be honest, I mean, Armin is like the most grounded, like the most humanized character in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like in like Death Note, Akira's dad or Light's dad was like the more level-headed. Like he was the most, the one that you can believe in his character.
Yeah.
You know. And Armin here, him throwing up and just him knowing what he did is...
It's too much. It's disgusting. And yeah, so then everyone's awake. They get to go to the basement, which like is my favorite part of this season, even though it's the least exciting part. We just like got through the big battle for Trost, but they clear the rubble in front of the door to Aaron's family's basement. And as soon as they get to the door, they realize that Aaron's key is not the same key, but Levi doesn't give a shit, just breaks down the wooden door.
So they never needed the key.
They never... Well, they did.
They did, yeah.
For this other part.
But, like, in this moment, I was like, oh, so you didn't need the key at all?
I was like, so what did your dad give you a key for? Like, for fucking what?
For the secret door inside of the basement.
Well, we don't know this yet.
So, that same episode, they're in there, and they're like, okay, it looks like a regular doctor's study. What the fuck is in here? It's just medicine. And then Mikasa drops a cup and is reminded of Aaron's dad, where he would ask her to bring her down water or drink while like he was doing all-nighters while preparing medicine for a study or whatever. And then in his desk, she finds like a secret keyhole. And that's the key. That's the keyhole for Aaron's key. They open it and find 3 books. And the smart part I saw right here was Hanji's like... Well, first, when they break into the basement, Hanji's like, oh, good, it's not flooded, because it's a basement, you know what I mean? Like, they're prone to flooding. Being like, okay, good. That like, I was worried that this was all going to be a waste of time and that the whole basement
was like a meta
flooded.
thing to say?
Right, that's so smart. And then, like, they open the secret drawer, and it's full of, like, stuffed charcoal paper and, like, I think it was, like, lavender or something, and she's like, it smells like it was meant to keep away moisture and the bugs. Which I'm like, okay, it's books. That's smart. He didn't know how long they were going to be in there. That's smart. Okay, cool. So then They open the books, start reading them, and then we just get like 2 episodes of flashbacks to Grisha Yeager's like childhood life. And that shit like blows the roof on like what we thought Attack on Titan was. Because the next episode starts and it's basically 1930s Europe, and they're like, it's young Grisha, like maybe 10 years old, and like his 7-year-old sister with wristbands on, trying to walk to go see a blimp.
They're following a blimp, right? They see it's like, oh look, it's coming.
The airship. We gotta go see the airship. But like, this is where like the metaphor for it being like subjugation of Jewish people during like the 20th century like really starts hitting home, because they're wearing armbands. They're very restricted on where they're supposed to be within the city, and they get to a field.
They were supposed to get permit in order to go to the city.
Right, to even go out into the city, they were supposed to get a permit. Yes. So basically, we're transported to 1930s Europe, and that's where Grisha Yeager is trying to travel to see the airship with his sister, and they're wearing armbands because they're basically like, it's a metaphor for like Jewish outcastness and how they were treated during World War II. And they start talking about a country named Marley, and that Grisha and his sister are a race of people called Eldians. All of this is new. Like, as you're watching this, all of this shit is being described as brand new. And him and his sister see the airship, and then like immediately they see 2 Marley public security officers, who they're like, "Oh, you guys are Eldians. Show me your permit to be outside of the Eldian encampment," like you were saying, Aldo. And they're just like, "What? Permit? We don't have that. We just wanted to see the airship." So then one of the Marley public security guards is like, "Well, okay, do you want hard labor or do you want a quick beating?" And Grisha Yeager as a kid is like, "A quick beating, please." Because, and the officer's like, "Okay, good, smart boys, so that you don't have to trouble your parents, right?" He's like, "Yeah, basically," and just starts beating the shit out of him.
Well, because he volunteered to take his sister's beating also.
Oh, yeah, too. He's just like, "Yeah, don't touch my sister. I'll take her beating, too." So then, like, this second officer, like, this fat fuck, like, walks off with Grisha's sister, being like, "Okay, cool, I'll walk you to the gates of Libero."
Quote, unquote.
Quote, "I'll walk you there." And then, like, the scene we're left with is this other officer that just beat the shit out of Grisha, letting him sit there and look at the airship with him. So then Grisha gets back home, and his sister never got home because she was eaten by dogs on the banks of the river. So then this same Marleyan police officer, the fat fuck that was walking Grisha's sister to back home, supposedly, is talking to Grisha's dad, being like, I don't know what happened to her. I walked her back to the gates of Libero, but I feel like your son is acting too out of turn right now. He should know the consequences of being of somebody of his blood. And that's where we get this whole another government implant story, like a la, we just overthrew the government inside the walls because they were hiding the truth from the people. But now we have another second truth that inside of this country named Marley, which we're barely experiencing, where the Eldians, the children of Ymir, are a group of people that basically controlled all of human civilization for like 17,000 years. And they use the power of the Titans to just subjugate everybody. And that's what eventually caused the Marleyan government to overthrow the Eldians by subjugating their own Eldian Titan powers to create their own sub-government. So then,
pretty much the same thing that is happening inside the walls.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
It's just kind of
that's
weird.
the parallel. Yeah. So then, Grisha, seeing his dad look like a fucking pussy by kind of like explaining why this government was allowed to kill his daughter, pisses off Grisha Yeager. He's just like, "Dude, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, they killed my sister. They fed her to dogs.
And you know.
And you are out here defending them." And Grisha just keeps talking up and talking out of turn, being like, "Dude, that shit's not fair. We can't do this." And so Grisha grows up and becomes like a revolutionary of sorts. But he doesn't actually, like, he always has resentment for the Marleyan Empire because of what they did to his sister. But it's not until he's older and he's a doctor and he takes over his dad's business, his doctor business, that he meets a member of the revolutionary, which is marked with with an X on them, like a scar. So this Eldian who's trying to overthrow the Marleyan government kind of recruits Grisha Yeager, and they grow up and learn the true nature of what it means to be Eldian. That the founder Ymir wasn't actually trying to hurt people. She was paving roads. She was creating civilizations with the power of the Titans. She was bringing humanity out of the Dark Ages with the power of the Titans. Mm-hmm. And that's why they try to overthrow the Marleyan government. So basically, there's also a person within the Marleyan government who is named the Owl that is feeding them information, which is how they're getting like the secret knowledge about the true nature of the Eldians and how people are being shipped to Paradise, like for a committed mutiny, and that's how the Marleyan government is dealing with Eldians. To the point that that the Owl introduces the Eldian revolutionary to a member of the original Eldian royal family, who's like, I don't even remember her name, but basically Grisha marries her, has a son, and Grisha is so excited to have a son part of the royal family that he raises him to basically try to overthrow the Marleyan government from the inside. So basically the Marleyan government is recruiting child Eldian soldiers to be trained to control the power of the Titans. Mm-hmm. So Grisha raises Zeke to be like, you're going to become a Marleyan recruit, and you're going to gain the power of one of the Titans.
You're the chosen one.
You're the chosen one, and you're going to go to Paradise and unlock our people from their torment. And then Zeke, being so traumatized by what his dad's telling him that he basically has to commit a mutiny at like 10 years old, turns in his parents to the Marleyan government. And the Marleyan government grabs up Grisha, grabs up his royal family mom, and like they torture them, cut off all of Grisha's fingers, and like ship them out to Paradise. And what we learn what Paradise is Paradise is the island where we've been spending 3 whole fucking seasons, and this is the island off the coast of the Marleyan continent where
that we thought it was a whole world.
Where we thought the whole world was. This is where the first Eldian king retreated onto the island and swore to be non-violent, which is why like we were talking about when we were describing the beginning, which is why all royal family members that gain the power of the founding titan are non-violent, because they are bound to the will of the first king. So this is where all the titans have been coming from. And what the Marleyan officers do is they line up
like a high wall.
On a high wall, all the Eldian prisoners, and start injecting them with spinal fluid of a titan that's part of the royal family, and then they kick them off the wall, and that turns them into titans. And that's why, like, no matter how hard the scout regiment has been trying to kill all the titans on the island, they keep coming back.
More.
Yeah, because the Marleyan government keeps implanting more titans onto the island.
And it's so fucky when you start thinking about it, because you're like, fuck, like, just the trickle down assholeness that all these people have to suffer through it's just fucking ridiculous.
It's not only that, like, so at a certain point, the Marleyan police commander that's instructing everybody to inject the Eldian abolitionists to turn into titans, Grisha realizes that this is the guy that killed his sister. Mm-hmm. And he confronts him about it. He's just like, it's you. It's fucking you. I recognize you after all this time. You're the one that fed my sister to a bunch of fucking dogs. And he's like questioning him. He's just like, I get that we're devils. I get that we're subhuman. But why do you want to watch us die? And the rest of the Marleyan soldiers kind of walk down off the platform being like, yeah, you got to let the commander...
Well, I think they kicked them off.
Yeah, but he instructs them off, but like the logic is, you hear one of the soldiers being like, why are we being let off the platform? And he's just like, oh, you have to let the commander do his hobby. And his hobby is just to casually watch Eldians be mutilated. Yeah. Like, and that's
Django Mandingo fighting.
Right, and that's why, like,
Crazy.
He was so down to watch Grisha's sister die by dogs. That's
and
why
he even explained that he brought his sons to watch Grisha's sister be eaten by dogs.
Right.
To teach them like
a lesson, because even like Grisha trying to appeal to his humanity is like just like what that was one of your kids, that was my sister, like she's a person, and like he's explaining to Grisha being like, I understand where you're coming from, but to me you guys are animals, you guys are demons, you're devils, like watching you die is nothing to me. Like I have no remorse watching people like you die. And that's when the officer that was about to inject Grisha pushes that other Marleyan officer into the pit where the newly turned like Titans are. Because they were about to turn two of them at the same time. Well, they were going to turn one at the same time and then push Grisha down so that Grisha could run away and then get eaten because they just wanted to see him get eaten alive. But then this other Marleyan officer pushes his commanding officer down, watches him get eaten, and explains that like, no, I'm the owl. I'm a secret Eldian implant in the Marleyan police force, and I've been feeding you information this whole time. I've been feeding you information for like a dozen years because I saw the angst that was instilled in you as a child after your sister got eaten. And he even watches... The craziest part for me is the last person that's turned is Grisha's wife, the woman of the royal bloodline. And when she's turned into the blonde smiling Titan from season 1, episode 1 of Attack on Titan. The smiling Titan that ate Aaron's mom. And like the thing she's telling Grisha right before she gets turned is just like, I love you, I'm gonna love you forever, whatever form I'm in, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna love you. And like, that's kind of foreshadowing, because she kind of did find like Grisha's family in the end and ate his new wife. Like his old wife as a Titan ate his new wife, which is crazy to think about.
And the things that the owl's telling him too is just
and the owl spills all the beans, all the beans. It's just like, so there's 9 Titans. I have the attack Titan, and he just murders all the Marleyans at the port, destroys the ship, just starts ripping people apart, throwing them in the ocean. And Grisha's like describing it as just like he was just casually just murdering everybody. It made no sense to me at the time. And it's the owl explaining to Grisha like, this is why I'm gonna let you eat me. And you're going to have the power of the Attack Titan, which will give you enough power to make to the wall. And you are going to invade inside of the wall to take over the power of the first king, which subtext is the Founding Titan. That's what he's trying to say. And you are going to like unleash everybody outside of the world because
we're getting this flashback through Eren touching the books.
Right. And he's describing out loud while in prison for committing mutiny. Because he grabbed Captain Levi and tried to force him to give the shot to Armin. That, like, it's just this whole crazy thing. So basically, the whole reason that the Armor Titan and the Colossal Titan in Season 1, Episode 1 busted the holes in Wall Maria was so that everybody inside of the walls could get eaten by Titans so that the Marleyan government could invade and take over the fossil fuel resources there. And like those fossil fuels are explained more in Season 4. That's why they have the ODM gear, because they have a special like gas or oil or something like that lets them use these technologies like the ODM gear. So like everything we've been led to believe is because the Marleyan government wants to overthrow the island of Paradise and the people inside the wall just so that they can take the fossil fuels. All the pain we've like described and been like shown for 3 seasons was just to get fossil fuels.
And then while he's having this conversation with Eren Yeager's father,
Grisha
Yeager, this is also the part where your favorite line is.
What was it?
Well, as he's... Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. But, like, as he is explaining all this, he finishes that conversation with Grisha, which we're watching through a flashback that Eren touched the books from. He's telling Grisha... He's talking towards Grisha, and he's like, you have to do all this so you can save Armin and Mikasa. And then you're like... Wait. So
because this is 20 years before Armin, Mikasa, and Eren are even born. So because like like you're right. Like Grisha looks up at the owl and is just like, "Why are you doing this?
Why are you telling me?
Why
this?
are you telling me this?" And he's just like, "Because you need to go in there and be successful, so that
Have
you can
a family.
save Armin and Mikasa." And then even Grisha's like, "Who's Armin and Mikasa?" And the owl's like, "I don't know why I just said that. I don't know who these people are. They're not from my memory." That is what he says. So I'm not spoiling nothing, but I'm just saying that's kind of crazy that this person 20 years in the future is mentioning Armin and Mikasa. I don't know, but that's kind of crazy.
And I mean, things that are hooking us into like the next part of like this anime, the soft plot that's happening in the background, like, you know, they're having a meeting with like the military officials back in Rose.
After reading the books.
Correct.
And after interpreting all of Aaron's memories through his father. And that's also what's crazy. So the whole reason this whole thing happened, like the whole plot of the anime, is because the owl instructed Grisha to give Aaron the attack titan and eat the founding titan at the same time. So like at this point in the anime, you're kind of like, is it all Grisha's fault? Like you're watching and you're just like, everything's Grisha's fault. All the pain, all the suffering.
We didn't know that because Grisha didn't create Reiner or Bertolt.
But like all the issue, that's true. But like all the pain that Aaron was feeling at the beginning of season 3, like feeling like, why did my dad do this? Why did he steal this power? Why did he eat Historia's sister? Because Grisha always planned to have another son, always planned to have another Aaron, and to give him this power. And like that's like all the subtext going into season 4 is just like, because after interpreting all those memories, a year later they officially take over Maria, clear all the Titans, go to the platform where Grisha's memory was, where people were being turned into Titans, and they finally see the ocean, and they realize for sure that they were on an island this whole time.
I feel like it was meant to be felt like Grisha was a dick to Aaron, because that's pretty much what drives him the entire time until he finds out. And then when he finds out, it's because there's this really, not complex, but over a specific instance of where we're seeing like trickle down genocide fucking thing going on with like the walls and you know, Wall Maria, Wall Arsena, and then not only that, but the people who are dying in the mainland. And it's just, I don't know, it just puts...
It's the Holocaust.
Reverse Holocaust thing.
Yeah, it's like the Holocaust, but if like one of the Jewish prisoners got possession of like a nuclear weapon, a la Titan, and was like coming to beat your ass for like fucking with his family.
Yeah. And not only that, like he is born into a place that oppresses him, and he has to overthrow that and then go back and fucking overthrow the other fucking thing.
Right, which is the resolution in season 3. We've overthrown the people oppressing us inside of the walls, inside of the island of Paradise. So now, season 4, the final season, we can go fuck with these other assholes that were messing with us this entire time.
Why were they even being oppressed inside the walls? They're all on the same team.
Well, because the people from the mainland were in charge, right? That was the secret government.
Like, they're all under
No,
attack
the people.
also.
No. It was different. No.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the pacifist thing.
So
the will of the king.
Right. So basically, you're asking like, why would somebody like Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner break in at, even though they're Eldians that were living on the country of Marley? Why?
That's not what I was asking.
But why would they hurt their fellow humans on the island? No.
That too, yes.
Okay, then what were you asking?
Well, I was asking originally like the inside military police and like people who are living amongst them.
That was just because
like
they were. That was
Annie.
just because they were corrupt and they wanted to control the populace.
Yeah.
So that's just corrupt politics. But
like people, your own people were trying to.
But the point that you were kind of alluding to earlier, that's like people that turn into Titans are all Eldians. Why would Eldians from the mainland be against Eldians and like try to hurt them on the island of Paradise? Because they're child soldiers. They are child soldiers that were recruits of the country of Marley specifically bred to like host these intelligent titans and use them as military weapons.
You're giving us spoilers now.
That's not spoilers.
No,
that's explaining Grish's memory.
exposition.
Because like in Grish's memory, he's like, this is how
They got Zeke in the first place.
Well, this is how the country of Marley became so powerful, because after they took control of the Eldian Titans, they started taking over the world. But as like technology improved, and you see the blimps, and you start seeing missiles and other crazy stuff, the pace of technology started outpacing the power of the Titans. So that's why they need all that fossil fuel storage, so that they can keep up technologically. Because like the country of Marley had almost been like hindered in terms of advancement because they had something as powerful as the Titans. But yeah,
that was Fleshy Mecha.
that's fleshy Mecha season 3. we'll talk about season 4 maybe in May, even if we want to. We totally could, even though it's like 30 something episodes. But does anybody have any with VNA finally?
Yes.
Does anybody have any last points about season 3 of Attack on Titan?
No. I like that they brought the conversation back to Annie. We thought that from season 1 and season 2 that Annie was kind of like already done, but it's not.
Nope.
No. Great pacing. Great animation.
Great season. I liked it so much. Like where I didn't want to stop watching. I wouldn't stop watching it until I had something to do.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's how you watch television normally, but
yeah, but this like I watch television all the time, but passively. Like I have it playing in the background of whatever I'm doing. But this season, like I enjoyed sitting and watching, and I didn't want to leave my seat until I really had to for work or something else.
It's a great fucking anime.
Honestly, I really, really think Attack on Titan might be one of the greatest animes of all time. And I feel like it's not even going to be up to debate at a certain point. Like, we're going to be, like, a month removed, like, 2 weeks from now. Like, 2 weeks from now, a month from 2 weeks from now, when we've had some time to digest, like, the end of Attack on Titan. I really, really think, like, Attack on Titan is, like, one of the greatest piece of medias that have been out in, like, the past 20 years. Like, it's absolutely insane that we've experienced something in real time that's this good.
And we always talk about how gory anime, and this is not trying to be a gory anime, but
just the nature of like
the
its
nature
subject
of it.
matter is it's just gory. People are being eaten. It's about cannibalism.
and killed. Yeah.
It's literally about cannibalism. So at a certain point, like, there's just people being eaten all the time.
But for this episode, we're not gonna do a nerd down.
We're not gonna do a nerd down. It is a Monday, but even though we're recording the next episode that's coming out on a Monday, because of said episode that me and Aldo were saying that we're going to record on Saturday, as like we're recording an episode early since I'm going to be out of town for like 5 days. We're going to be talking about Paprika, which is going to be coming out at the end of March. But what we'll do is we'll record the Nerd Down this Saturday and just put it into that Tuesday's episode. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So, I think that's about it. At the end of this episode, I do want to remind everybody to please hit us up on social media. That's @BetweenNerds. Please email us questions, comments, or concerns, betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. Please use the hashtag #NerdsForRefugees in every single tweet, Instagram post, or YouTube comment to be entered into our March giveaway. For every like and retweet, we will be donating to the Hope Border Institute.
Subscribe to our YouTube, like us on YouTube, comment on YouTube, and hit that notification bell.
Absolutely. I want to thank Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
One last time for coming through. And
Thanks for having
my name's Drew Elias. This is Aldo Mendez. This has been Between
Nerds.
Nerds.